You got Timber and you got MLS. The way they're moving, who's getting past them?
If he's a wonder kid, your mouth shouldn't be in that same category.
Casemiro, bruv, is one of the best in the world, bruv.
2 thumbs can be a milky.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time you're listening, welcome to another episode of Podcast Pundits. I'm Drayman. I'll be back in the host seat today. It's been a crazy week of football. But before we go into what just happened, let's just go around the room, see who we've got with us today. Starting from my left, Marley Mar.
Man United supporter. How you doing, man? Marley Mar here, yeah, man. Yeah, it's been a crazy week. Crazy week being a Man United fan, as we know. I'm sure we're going to get into it.
The roller coaster.
Yeah, man. I've already started drinking, as you can see. But yeah, man, happy to be here as ever, man.
No, don't blame you. Moving on, Joey.
Yo, it's your boy Joey, a.k.a. Barney, a.k.a. Top of the League, a.k.a. Yes, happy to be here, man. Let's have it, boys.
Wow. He's
You're still
nearly
saying
there.
top of the league, not league champion yet, yeah?
Top of the league, man.
Not until it's
League,
mathematically possible.
Fair dues.
No, it's top of the league, innit? A.k.a. League champions, innit? For you guys. So I'll see you guys.
Bro, come on, man. You should be loud, man. You normally...
Why?
No, I like this.
Yeah.
This
It's a somber mood.
This is
Job done,
humble.
keep
This
it
is humble.
moving.
Yeah.
Job done, keep it moving.
This is what I'd like to see from certain. Well, go on, cool, yeah. This is what I like to see from certain people when they're flying high, bro. This is how you behave, bro.
You're loud when you're scared you're not going to complete the job. But once you complete the job, there's nothing else to talk about. To be fair, innit?
Big man thing still.
All right, moving on, Della.
Yeah, Della Strada. Don't worry about the top. I'm still a free agent.
Still a free agent.
Yeah, man.
But just enjoying football in general.
Yeah, I'm just a football fan. You know, some people don't like me being a football fan. I don't know why. I'm just here to talk football. Just happy to be
Moving
here.
on to your arch enemy, Striver.
Arch enemy, don't say
No,
that.
no arch enemy, man. That's my guy. As long as he knows very, very, very easy. These ships are placed, man. That's my guy, man. Hold tight to the Strada, man. But yeah, man, it's your boy Strive, or you could call me Striver. Hold on a second, guys. Let me just...
Oh my God.
Brent, do you smoke her? What's he doing?
This guy.
Yeah.
This guy's a snitch.
Randall.
This guy.
He's who I'm dealing with Della Strada, ready to call the authorities on me. But yeah, man. So just got the cigar out, got the shades on. You know what time it is, man. So yeah, just
Does your mum know you smoke?
Yo, so anyway, man. Yes, your boy.
Guy's looking like Bugsy Malone, bro.
Yeah, but
Have we got man? It's your boy Strives, man. It's your boy Striver, man. I ain't got too much to say here, man. You guys know what time it is.
just
man.
enjoying.
Just enjoy it, man. Just, what do they say? Remontada. It's my comeback, man.
And last but not least, we've got a special guest in the house.
So I'm Ross Greig. I'm a lawyer and a football agent and intermediary. I was invited on by Dan, so thanks for having me, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here.
Welcome,
You're
Ross.
welcome
to the madness.
Let's just, before we go into it, Ross, let's just expand on that just a little bit. So just explain where you started to then delving into sort of the football path, just quickly. Just to give
So
a bit of
historically, my kind of background was in law, and still is in law. So I've been a lawyer since 2011. I'm a lawyer and high court advocate, so a lot of my life was always spent in court, representing people, X, Y, Z. By virtue of that, I suddenly sort of took the view about 2 years ago that I was going to move into football because I wanted to do football. Always loved football, played as well. So it just seemed like a sort of relatively natural transition to step out of law and into football, largely because it's become amazingly regulated. It's obviously going to be regulated. There's going to be a football regulator. Companies are football clubs, so it's always extremely corporate. So just seemed like a natural fit and the next move, essentially.
Brilliant. And before we move into the pod, just quickly, because I know obviously your job will take up a lot of your time, but how does that go with trying to find like new clients and new players and clubs and trying to, build new relationships with these kind of intermediaries?
I mean, it's tough. It's kind of nervous breakdown territory, to be honest.
Yeah.
You have to be quite on it. It's obviously the sort of thing, you're forever sort of networking and, you spend your evenings laying in bed thinking about what you're going to do next. Don't really switch off. So not great if you've got a wife, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult.
But yeah, no. busy. It's kind of like anything else really. You kind of get out what you you get back what you put in. So, but yeah, pretty tough. Pretty tough.
Brilliant. And just a last one.
Yeah.
Before we go into it. So what differentiates you in terms of your agency from another agency, or is there not much in it? Is it basically by word of mouth? Is it by the players you acquire? To kind of bring yourself into like the football world, to get your name out there as well. Because obviously there's loads of agents, there's loads of footballers.
Yeah.
We hear it all the time, they chop and change. Is it for any particular reason or?
I think to be honest with you, I think it's all very, very subjective. I think the reality is, what will tend to happen is you'll get players and a player will be in a dressing room and that player might have a different agent and he might be wondering why his agent's doing a better job.
Mm.
But it's kind of like, it's a very difficult and complicated picture because the reality is your agent might be doing a great job for you by encouraging you not to move.
Yeah.
It depends what a player's kind of looking for. So the reality is it's a sum of its parts really. It's a difficult question to answer. I mean, look, some of the agents that I would say are elite. Ozil's agent is obviously phenomenal. He's a lawyer, Dr. Urquhart, and you get extremely, overwhelmingly professional agents that, are 100% invested in making the right deal for their player.
Mm.
However, you also get agents that, frankly, shouldn't really be practicing.
Yeah.
And you get the ones that are in between. So, like everything in life, I think you get a broad spectrum of people. Some are great, some are not.
Yeah.
I tend to gravitate more towards the ones that are in that mould, and are trying to act diligently and professionally. But as you can probably imagine, it's something that FIFA have looked quite heavily at.
Yeah.
Backdoor agents and the way that things are managed, etc. So, yeah, we'll see. But I think the direction of travel for the FA and for FIFA is obviously to try and encourage a sort of quasi-law model where you've got players that are really getting a fiduciary relationship from, their agent, as opposed to a situation where effectively there's not really much going on other than, a relationship between that player and the agent, which might not actually be that advantageous as a player might appear. And obviously, nepotism plays a role in all of these things,
Definitely.
So, as you can imagine, as a matter of common sense.
Brilliant.
Yeah, go on.
No, I was going to say, one quick question. I've always wondered, so, say for instance, there's a player in grassroots, he's got an agent he's got an agent from there. He moves up to the ranks, he may get into a Premier League team.
Yeah.
How easy is it for a player to say, I just want to change agents? Is there any obligation that he has to stay with a particular agent for a certain amount of time? Or could he just decide, wake up one morning and say...
Do you want a legal answer or the reality of...
No, the reality.
The reality of life is contracts often are not worth the paper that they're written on. Is the reality of life. So, you have situations like... the actual answer is if you're under a representation agreement with a player, then you shouldn't receive approaches from other agents in relation to that player. The practicality of life is it doesn't obviously operate like that very often. So, for instance, you'll get an agent that has potentially, got a better portfolio of players, for instance, and a player might understandably be drawn to that and think, well, that will be better, and I'll go there. So the reality is it's very hard to hold someone hostage.
Yeah,
is the answer.
Unless you've got the time and the resources to freaking go down that path of recourse where you try to hold them to the contract, isn't it?
Well, can't you hold them to the contract?
You can.
Yeah, because I'm wondering, because the reason I asked is obviously clubs can hold a player hostage, right? Yeah. In a contract.
Well, you can try, but I guess the problem with all of these scenarios is you can enforce a contract, but I guess the reality is you've got to think about, and you guys all know this as a matter of common sense, you've got to think about the collateral damage that does.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So, it's the knock-on effect of it's a pretty, effectively you're in a situation where you're cutting your nose off to spite your face in a lot of circumstances because, you might tend to find that, all right, the player doesn't get the move that he wants or whatever it might be, but the reality of life is the knock-on effect in the dressing room in that regard is likely to be enormous. So as I say, look, it's one of those things where, you know, a lot of it's common sense and a lot of it's like a sum of its parts, and you've got to think holistically about how it actually works. You know, I mean, Arsenal always wanted to keep Van Persie.
Yeah,
You know, Arsenal were desperate to keep Van Persie, but he went. So it's like, you know, the reality is 9 times out of 10, you know, contracts are a nice theory, but in practice they're not quite as
true.
not
So,
quite
you know,
available.
With like KDB, he represented himself in his last contract negotiations, I think using stats and data.
He did, yeah.
Do you think that's like a pattern that's going to happen going forward, or do you have to get to a certain level before you kind of have that collateral to go into a negotiation?
No, I can see a lot of things personally. I mean, this is just my worldview, so it just happens to be my opinion. I think that it will change. Yeah, I think that, you know, you're looking at, for instance, I was fortunate enough to be at an event with the Brighton CEO, Jermaine Defoe, David Ornstein, and Kelly Cates from Sky, and one of the things that the Brighton CEO was like very, very, very keen to express to the room was that, I mean, in Brighton's current model, it's totally data-driven. So it's player first. To the point where, unbelievably, you know, they'll put third parties in hotels to watch how those players react.
Yeah, wasn't he, is he like a professional gambler?
Well, that's Tony Bloom. That's the owner. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. But the reality is like, you know, I think we live in such a data-driven culture now.
Yeah, definitely.
That the reality is, you know, you're going to get clubs that you're going to get players that are, you know, stats first, and their agents will obviously go into meetings stats first.
Yeah.
And it evolves. But then I guess it's about, you know, as an agent, you've got to try and make sure that you're forging relationships and ultimately always acting in, you know, your client's best interests.
Yeah, and adding value where you can.
And sometimes, unfortunately, the reality is that might mean, you know, that might mean telling someone something that they don't want to hear.
Yeah, of course.
You know? But ultimately, it depends what what you're driven to do. I mean, the reality is most agents, if they're being honest, in transfer windows, you need players moving.
Yeah,
of course.
So if we've got listeners who are interested in becoming an agent, what sort of advice would you give to them?
Don't waste my time.
So,
Don't waste my time. Play FM, bro.
No, they want to become agents.
No, honestly, I guess on that topic, there's a great book by Daniel G called Build the Invisible, which is a really, I mean, Daniel G's a really, really top sports lawyer. He did Van Dijk's contract at Liverpool, and he's really, really top of his game in terms of sports law. And that book is sort of, I'd really read that first, because that book is quite enlightening in relation to, you know, what you kind of need to do, because like, it's definitely not something that catches fire immediately.
Yeah, of course not.
You know, it's unfortunately always a work in progress, you know, and especially in the age that we live in, you know, in the current form, you've already said, like, you know, it's very data driven. You know, is there going to come a time where players are saying, well, I don't really need an agent, do I? Just turn up with the data. Yeah. You've got AI at your fingertips. You know, is that going to happen? I don't think it will happen, because I still think that contractually, that kind of human element is really what I think in most situations, whether you're in a courtroom or whether you're negotiating a contract or whatever it might be, like in my experience, and this is just, as I say, my humble worldview, I think the stuff that normally gets things over the line, 9 times out of 10, it's that human element, that human relationship, you know?
No, it's that personal element, isn't it?
I think so. Well, I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
But ask me in 5 years, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, speaking from experience, obviously, knowing Ross in a professional capacity, man, the guy's good, man.
So Ross, before we move straight onto the pod,
I'm not sure that should make the edit.
Come on, man.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, man. What are you saying? You play football, yeah?
Yeah, man. I'm a footballer, man. Come on, man. You guys know, man. You got a better one.
For sure. Ross, give yourself a plug. How can people get in contact with you? Or obviously, we know that you delve into football, but other specialities, where can they find you? Give yourself a plug.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm available on LinkedIn fairly easily. I'm currently at Fam Sports in terms of football agency. but largely unavailable on social media.
That's very clever.
That's how I'm trying to be.
It's a sort of a decision I took a lot of years ago, largely because, I feel like when you're really busy and there's so much going on in life, so I just think it's such a distraction. So 9 times out of 10, unless it's something absolutely pertinent like LinkedIn. And in fact, one of my very good friends, we had to have a very long arm wrestle over me going on LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Largely just because it's such a distraction and,
Yeah, man.
But
AFTV
unfortunately,
will do that to you.
in the current sort of climate, unnecessary evil. So,
Yeah.
I personally, I think social media, when used properly and used right, I think it can be like a proper advantageous tool. To kind of better your progression. And we're finding that with our journey with Podcast Pundits, I think we probably all attest to, so to speak. So I think social media, I think I agree with Ross though, it is a bit of a it's a bit
time
of
drain.
Yeah, but it's a necessary evil, so to speak. And when you plug into it in a particular way, man, off to the moon, man.
So Jay, before you start the podcast,
go on.
on the social media stuff, what's your thoughts on your players being on social media?
Look, the reality is, I guess it's all common sense, really, isn't it? I guess it depends on the individual. Like Gary Neville, for instance, I've heard Gary Neville say lots and lots and lots of times that he thinks that players should do their own social media. I guess I reckon the answer is, and again, this is just my personal view, they should do their own social media, but with lessons.
Yeah.
Because obviously, again, I guess the problem is, right, if you imagine being, and I've not been fortunate enough to be in that position, but if you're fortunate enough to be in a position where you've got the world at your feet and you're being offered massive money for contracts, et cetera, or whatever it might be, two thumbs can be a nuclear bomb.
Exactly.
And I think we've seen that time and time again, haven't we? So I guess like prevention's better than cure.
Yeah, 100%.
I guess the answer really is, clubs really internally, I think, should be sort of working on that PR element and saying, look, listen, like there's a risk attached to you having a phone. There's a risk attached to you potentially losing your temper and sending a message. There's a risk attached to all of these things. And I think,
there's a potential there for business, if you tell me. How many footballers are there out there? Yeah, how many footballers are there out there coming up in the world that could do with, I'm talking obviously much younger now.
Bro, you reckon PR is a new thing, yeah?
No, but in terms of I think
training.
Yeah, training, that's what I mean. In terms of the footballers that are up and coming in this world who know no different than just to go on social media and just sometimes write absolute jargon.
Yeah, like all the diversity people can now switch over to that industry.
Well, that's public relations though, bro. That's out there already, bro, man. This is a discovery, man.
Yeah.
Well, who knows?
But look, man, let's get on with this podcast.
I'm here for football, mate. I'm here for football.
I know he's dying in the wings. Strives is dying in the wings.
Can we start with Arsenal? Is that all right?
Yeah,
I think there's only one place to start.
Need to with his silly glasses, bro.
I must say, Ross, I'm loving your outfit today.
Well, mate, like I said, I watched, I was sent one of the ones that you guys have done before. I just thought dress code applied.
Yeah, 100%. You've got to fit the bill. So it's only right then, Strives. So let's just go straight into the...
By the way, before I left, can I just say this?
Yeah.
Before I left, my wife said to me, are you going on a podcast? I was like, yeah. What, dressed like that?
It's a work attire.
Exactly. No, it's fair play. And you've definitely come appropriately dressed. So if she asks, just say,
like I say, I'm really grateful for the invite. Thank you. It's
no problem. No problem. So yeah, let's go into the main event. Obviously, it's been a crazy week of European football. It ended at the Bernabeu. Real Madrid 1, Arsenal 2. And if I just move straight to you, Strives, and say, Mikel got his tactics down to a T at the Bernabeu, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'd say so. I say like a couple episodes ago, I said that I reckon this tie is gonna come down to the managers, Mikel Arteta, and then obviously Don Carlo. Sorry, I say Don Carlo. Yeah. So yeah, man, I said it was gonna come that.
Grew up, bro, like that, bro.
At least light it.
Nah, man, I can't like man smoking inside for you children, yeah. But anyway, yeah, man. So I thought it'd come down to the two gaffers, and I think like one thing I'll say about Mikel, and obviously I know like it's widely known, yeah, that I've had my reservations about some of his practices, but one thing you can never take away from Mikel Arteta is how great of a coach this guy is. Like when you see the way Arsenal approached that game, and even the way Arsenal approached many games this season, especially against like the bigger teams, you can really see how well drilled each player in each position is. You know what I mean? As a football club. Whereas with Don Carlo's team, it's like a bunch of like just superstar individuals just put in a pot and just said, "Yo, cook." You know, like they said, they're gonna close the lid on the stadium. You know what I mean? But you know, as you've seen on social media, you know, they say rice cooks better with the lid on. Exactly, man. And I think it came down to the two managers. I think that's probably why Carlo Ancelotti has found himself in a lot of the pressure has piled on even more so, especially after that fixture, because I think pressure was piling on anyway, because you got Barcelona on the cusp of potentially a treble. Hopefully Arsenal can help that, but Barcelona's on the cusp of a treble, and last time that happened when Real Madrid messed up and Barca cleaned up, Perez, you know what he went on to do with Real Madrid, you know what I'm saying? So you got that pressure with Ancelotti, but then it's like you're seeing Ancelotti, the way he's approached the game, I couldn't really see any like tactical brilliance from him in that game. You get what I'm saying? Whereas with Arteta now, we've got a DM or midfield wherever he plays, playing up top. We've got a young boy. I need to even stop referencing young boy, because whether he was 18 or whether he was 29, he's putting up some of the best left back performances that we've probably seen this season. And once upon a time, I'm sure I've even said on this podcast, I thought he was our fifth choice left back. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, we bought Calafiore, but all of a sudden,
MLS
has showed up, and this guy's putting up generational performances. At the beginning of the season, if you told that young boy, bro, you're locking up Rodrigo, and then the next time you're going to lock up Jude Bellingham, he probably would have laughed. Not only has he done that, he's got a goal in his England day. Bro, I can't speak more highly of this guy. And then you got just everyone, literally, just everyone just playing their part. Like,
I think it was a great team performance.
Yeah, and I think you do have to give like Arteta his credit for that. But to the team performance, bro, I'm sure like the rest of you will attest to it, man. Arsenal were phenomenal, man. Like, it's like you've gone to Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, yeah? I told you guys in the last episode, it's going to score 5. Like, we're 5 past Real Madrid. I told you guys. And the way we approached that game, like, when Saka missed the penalty, obviously, in that moment, you're like, oh, damn, you know what I mean? Like, damn, not Saka, man. Like,
but you can't have been too pissed though, because you're 3-0 up.
Still pissed.
No, not pissed.
No, but
it's more disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
You could have killed the game off, so you'll be annoyed, of course.
100%. And you know what it is? It's just like after everything that happened to him, like when he played for England and whatnot, you're just like, God forbid. Because you know, if they've been doing this Remontada, they said at 9 p.m. They were literally like going on like they were about to, they were filming some, I don't know, man, Die Hard 4, Die Hard 5, freaking Marvel's Adventures Part 6 kind of movie trailer. The way they were moving, how they were going to move to Arsenal. And you're thinking, could it be? Like, he's just missed the penalty. Could it be? But, bro, on the flip side, I think it's testament to just how easy Arsenal were in their element. Because, bro, he attempted what's that, Panenka?
Panenka, yeah.
Bro, are you all right? Up the Bernabeu.
Do you see the video where it said Jude Bellingham might have told him to do it?
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, I saw the video. Yeah, where he whispered in his ear.
There's a video where people think Jude said that day to do
Panenka.
And if he did do it on the back of that, I rate him even more.
The balls to it. The balls to do it.
Yeah.
Because it shows you, that this guy genuinely was not afraid of the occasion.
No.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
That's right, because some Arsenal fans were like cussing, but I was like,
I'm here for
bro,
it.
like if he scored that, Do you know what Smokey would have been on next season, bro?
Yeah, for sure.
Unbeatable.
I'm here for it.
still.
But he didn't score it. And guess what? He went on to score again. He went on to score it anyway.
Yeah.
So after he's gonna go like when he's an older man and he's retired and his children and his grandchildren are watching that game, he's gonna be like, oh, watch this. I just sit back and quiet, and they're gonna be like, oh, Dad, Granddad, how did you miss that? How did you miss that? Don't watch that. Carry on watching.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bro, Arsenal, we were just in our element, man. Like, learn about who? Come on, man. We own the Santiago now, man.
I was going to say, Della, if I just put it to you, is that the best way? Della's looking at this.
The camera's
Just
blowing out
FYI.
this guy.
Just blowing wine breath.
Straps blowing hot air in my face.
no breath in your face, bro.
But is it the perfect way that Arsenal could handle them? Because they knew they had the lead, so they almost said to Real Madrid, you come and play. Take it to us. But I think Arsenal are more comfortable with teams that actually play at them than teams that low block.
To the low block. Yeah, 100%. That's why when there was discourse as to what team Arsenal would prefer playing, whether Atletico or Real Madrid, some people said Atletico, some people said Real Madrid. Or the teams people that said Real, people questioned them. But that's exactly why, because Real are going to be a bit more open. Atletico is basically Arteta's nemesis. You know what I'm saying? Playing against a low block, and especially a team like Diego Simeone. So yeah, how the game was set up, Real Madrid did have to come out and play.
Yeah.
And Arsenal did well.
What about Rice? We just throw the name out there. I think no real remarks or comments needed. Just
We bought him half price.
Thank you. Thank you. If West Ham invoiced us for another 50 mil, brother, and Arsenal paid it, I would have no qualms.
Would that impact Arsenal buying a striker?
Right.
Yeah.
No, rightfully so,
Yeah.
though. Rightfully so.
Listen, Arsenal's got money.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, if West Ham invoiced us for an extra 50 mil, I'm saying I don't mind, innit? I don't mind.
Quick question, though. Obviously, there's a lot of build-up for the two legs, innit? Now that it's all over, are you lot a bit disappointed at the Real Madrid that showed up?
Why would you be disappointed?
No, obviously you're happy. You're happy that you won, but that Real Madrid that showed up, it's kind of like they were inflated to be something that was going to be an obstacle for you to overcome. But you just like you look through them. You just went straight past them.
You see that? Yeah, I think that's why sometimes, and I think even before Arsenal played Real Madrid, a lot of people didn't give Arsenal credit. Now Arsenal have done what they've done to Real Madrid, and everyone's probably saying it wasn't a great Real Madrid team. But before that game was set up, everyone's already said Arsenal were out.
No, I don't think it wasn't a great Real Madrid team. I think it was just a terrible performance from a team that should have done way better.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is they performed how they performed because of Arsenal's performance. So Arsenal played how they played and Real Madrid played how they played. And essentially, I think what people do is basically, not say that they'll discredit Arsenal's performance, but Arsenal's performance was very, 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 very good. And they basically did something that a lot of people didn't expect them to do, especially when at the Emirates and also at the Bernabeu.
No, agree. But obviously, like on the episode before the first leg, I kind of conceded to Strives that I think Arsenal are going to do something here. And I personally thought, like Strive said in his soliloquy earlier on, that they tactically didn't do anything. He was bested by Arteta. But I didn't see anything from Ancelotti. I didn't see anything change in that second leg.
But what I was going to say to that is when he actually said, I was like, what's different to what Real Madrid did last season versus this season? It's still the same manager. And it's essentially still more or less the same team.
So it might be Tony Cruz, you know?
Yeah,
maybe
Tony Cruz. Yeah, lack of Tony Cruz in the midfield. And
obviously,
and they didn't have a striker last season.
Centre back as well. But
Milito.
And then Melissa. But I still feel like I was disappointed that Arsenal didn't break a sweat.
But then that's what I'm saying. I get your disappointment.
I don't know if it's testament to Arsenal because
it is a testament to Arsenal.
Wait, let me just finish because Arsenal didn't have their full team,
and that's how I say it's an even bigger testament.
Yeah. I don't know.
What do you think overall over the game? Did you expect Real Madrid to give you a better go overall?
Well, I was kind of listening to the observations like with interest really, because it just seems like, you know, for Arteta he's kind of damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't, because the reality is we go to, you know, he's expected. We've played out half the season, whether you blame the board or you blame Arteta, but we've effectively got this makeshift 9 in Mourinho, who's, let's be honest, been pulling up trees. He's been absolutely, despite like early reservations, he has been on a different planet to the point where, like, you know, you got to play him every week.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, the first thing that I thought when I realised Partey's out the next game was, no,
position.
they're going to pull him back into midfield.
Yeah.
You know, because he's that good. I think for what Arteta has done at the Emirates and at the Bernabeu, I think, you know, I think it's for Arsenal, it's like a different level of achievement. And I don't think you can really say, in fairness to him, after all that, but Real Madrid weren't very persuasive on the night. I think the reality is like, you know, I guess, you know, the allegory for the whole thing is Saliba shepherding the ball out with Mbappe, you know. And that was really an allegory for the whole game, because it didn't matter what happened during that 90 minutes, you know. And let's be frank, it could have been more.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
the first leg as well. Yeah.
Only Saka gets away with taking that penalty. Only Saka gets away with it. Nobody else gets away with it. So I think the reality is, from my point of view, I honestly felt like it was an impeccable. I was really proud of him. I felt that it was like an impeccable performance, home and away. And I felt like Rice is just burnt out of his skin. He is just, you know. I mean, I remember watching Rice at West Ham and kind of thinking like he's a really good player, but you know, is he going to be that much of a difference maker for Arsenal? But he just is.
He's elevated his game to the point where I think we've talked about it on the pod, his defensive duties, but not only that, this is his attacking presence as well that he has, pushing Arsenal up the pitch in terms of, like, you know, you see, I know we've had this, Marley Ma always jokes about it, like, you know, about him turning on the ball and stuff like that.
I'll rate Rice. I'll rate Rice. It was a quip last week, but I rate Rice massively. I think for what you've spent on him, I think the price tag makes the most sense, because he's always available. He's giving you a consistent 7. And throughout the 2 seasons that he's been there, he's like taking the responsibility of this is my team. Like, he's driving the team forward. Like, Declan Rice is top, mate. Like, he's a top player.
Yeah. And is it because he instantly knew as well when that penalty was given that it was definitely going to be overturned?
Yeah, I like that. It's mad honest. Like, his interview afterwards, like, it's like there's certain players, like, when you hear them speak after the games, like, you can just, like, they're pure. Like, he's a good geezer. You can't. It's like one of them guys you can't really dislike him. Like, he's just an honest baller. Yeah, man. He's dope, bruv. He's dope.
But I think that's, again, like, I think pervasively, that's kind of what Arteta's brought to the team. I mean, he's made some major calls, hasn't he?
Definitely.
You know, like, Aubameyang is obviously the standout. You know, he's made some major calls on that journey to sort of really, you know, get empathy and team spirit and everyone playing together. And I think that, you know, Rice kind of embodies that for me. But not just that. I just think he's, you know, Skelly is just...
Skelly's top.
I mean, the courage that it must take to go out of the Bernabeu at that age and turn up and play like he does. And I think I don't think even Guardiola has got to a fine art the way that Arteta has got that inverted left fullback coming in, getting the ball and just disrupting Madrid to the level that he's managed to do it. And I think tactically he doesn't get the credit, or as much credit as he deserves. And look, you know,
is that Arteta?
Yeah. And I feel like, look, you know, it's just
But Ross, for you, where do you think Declan Rice's best position is? 6 or 8?
I think it depends who we're playing, don't you?
Yeah, it does.
I think subjectively it depends who we're playing. It's my sort of personal view. And like I said, that doesn't mean it's right, but I just think that, you know, it depends on who's fit. I mean, you know, if Partey's not playing against PSG, which we know he's not.
Yeah, he's got the yellow card, so he'd be suspended.
Then perhaps Rice is playing.
Yeah,
you know,
in
the 6.
Do you think PSG is gonna? This is a question to all you guys. Based on form, obviously PSG is going to be a harder test than Real Madrid, right? Do you think?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
I think Real Madrid. I don't. Joey, you can obviously have your say in a minute, but I think PSG will be a tougher test than Real Madrid. But I've always said I fancy us there. Like, out of the PSG and Villa, I would have rather PSG than Villa.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is not that Villa's a better team than PSG, but I just feel like, and again, this is no slight on Luis Enrique or anything, but I just feel like Unai Emery has a bit more, like, I feel like he's a little bit more adept in regards to setting his teams up in different ways tactically to be able to disrupt another team, particularly Mikel Arteta and particularly Arsenal. I would have fancied us probably more against either of them, but I do fancy us more against PSG. And the reasons for that would be because, and again, this is what I'm saying. Like, I know, like, obviously throughout the pod, you're probably going to hear like, particularly De La Strada throw little shots towards me and my views on Arteta. But I give him a lot of his flowers, but it's just obviously I'm a results-based guy. I'm data-driven, like how Ross might have described, some of the players that he's working with at the beginning of the episode. So I like to see what I see. I go by anecdotal evidence. So eventually, sometimes I'm led by that, but I can still appreciate like the fine arts of the game. So what I mean, so to stop rambling, I mean, like in regards to Arsenal, the way he set Arsenal up, we're so robust. PSG, they're not going to match us, in my opinion, physically.
No.
They're athletic, but physically, we're just bigger than them. Like Declan Rice was moving like N'Golo Kante, bro, but he's like 6 foot something. You get what I'm saying? So imagine a massive fella moving with that kind of engine. It's scary, bro.
And Kante.
Bruv. Think about it. Think about Real Madrid.
Oh, wait, what?
What's
happening?
Think about it. Real Madrid, who got close to Declan Rice? Declan Rice was
What's he saying?
No,
He's
like
saying,
Kante's up and down, like he's all over the picture.
But
Declan Rice
saying,
had the same sort
I
of
don't like comparison. I don't want to.
but you just wanna-
You're putting me in a position to
you just
like
want to
slap.
want to fight me. That's fine.
No, I don't.
You just want to fight me.
What did he say that was wrong?
Yeah, what did he say?
That was wrong. Go on. Thank you. Answer that question.
Say again. What did you say?
No, just what did I say was wrong? You heard me.
I heard the comparison of
I think
Declan
he's
Rice and
basically trying to
Kante.
say, I think what he's saying is Rice is like Kante plus.
See, it's getting worse. It's getting worse.
Hey,
It's
is that
getting worse.
what you said?
That's what I said. Man, where's the lighter?
It's getting worse.
What,
Do you
Kante
speak
score
on
free
behalf
kicks?
of this man?
Kante score free kicks?
I don't like that. Come on, guys. Come on.
Look, but basically,
Guys,
what-
it could be nice to Kante and
No,
Rice.
but I'm not. To be honest, I don't feel like that's a disrespect to Kante though at all. And I don't think what I'm saying is, what I'm saying in that instance, the way that we saw Declan Rice perform, the way that we saw him present himself, bro, that was like just a bigger version of N'Golo Kante. It's a compliment to Declan
Even
Rice.
Yaya Toure, because that's his idol as well. Say Yaya.
He
Say Yaya.
models his game with
Yeah,
that.
I'll take that.
I'll go
You-
on
you take
better.
that.
You know
comparison.
what? Forget Kante because I really
None of them are good
I
enough.
should have said Patrick Vieira to be here. He
Right.
summoned the spirits of Patrick Vieira.
But I back you when you say that, not necessarily physically, because I know that PSG don't necessarily have to be too physical, because when Vitinha and was it, what's the other guy, Mendes?
Yeah.
Look at how
Yeah,
Villa.
yeah.
Look at how Villa frustrated.
Exactly.
And look at what we done to them when that's at the Emirates.
Yeah. So, but that doesn't count though, because they've come on leaps and bounds.
Yeah, they are,
since
but-
then.
But that was
But I
Dembele,
think
though.
in terms of
Dembele wasn't playing.
But in terms of them coming on leaps and bounds, because Dembele's been quite a creator for them, like since he's come in, whatnot. I still don't know that.
No, they were missing loads of players when they played.
No, I don't know.
Like,
It's practically the same thing.
You're overcooking it a little bit.
Anyway, but the point is that
And Dembele wasn't up top. That
Dembele
changed the season.
wasn't playing, but everyone else in that team was still there.
But they're playing a lot different now. Because when you lot played them, I was.
we'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. But I think you I make you right. You guys you have the tactical news on us to basically just handle whatever they throw at you, to be completely honest. If you want to drop deep and Dembele's got no space to run into, like the only thing is a big threat for me is probably Kvaratskhelia and Doué when he comes on, and Dembele. But and the way Vitinha and Neves move the ball around. But I think
I'm with you.
But
Let me ask you a question. Sorry, Della. Let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
Okay, so Dembele, you say Kvaratskhelia or whatnot.
Yeah, so and I've not seen anyone in Europe move the ball around the way they have against Villa and Liverpool,
that's
in my
fair.
opinion. So, but I think you guys will eat that up.
I would say Inter is probably the most difficult team to play against in Champions League.
Yeah.
No, but you haven't been drawn up against them. No, I don't think so.
You don't think
Arsenal
so?
played Inter, innit?
Well,
As in
that
style,
left.
as in style.
That's left.
No, I don't think they're the
Or
best.
even no,
No, as in
fact,
style,
forget
I think
forget
they
even
are.
what's left. Just
Why?
think about the Champions League that we've seen.
They're
Sorry.
defensively good. Attacking wise, they're okay. I think
I think they're the most
Overall.
defensively
Did you say?
resolute, but I don't think
Overall.
they're the best team in
Inter.
Europe.
I think they're based on what's left. Let's say for Arsenal,
No,
Oh,
just
okay.
I think
like-
they're the most like.
Yeah.
They're like, even if you think about the whole competition.
No, not the whole competition.
So
No.
who's been hard?
But they finished second to you
Who's
guys.
been hard?
Didn't they finish second or third to Liverpool in the group?
No, it wasn't.
Where did they finish? Inter, they finished pretty high up.
To be fair, I'm not.
Who's been harder?
They didn't lose that many games.
Who's been harder? Who's been?
From what I've seen in terms of, well, it depends on who's playing who in it, because I feel like we would have probably had a better time against Inter than PSG, in my opinion.
Fair enough, but in my opinion, I think Inter have been the most difficult team to play against in terms of trying to break them down.
Because you had a difficult game against them.
No, but overall, if you watch them, they are quite difficult.
I'm not too impressed with.
It's not even that we just had a difficult. Everyone's had a difficult game against them. But my point that follows that is the next team that is the hardest to play against in the Champions League is Arsenal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is Arsenal. Yeah. You're not really scoring past us like that. And to be honest with you, if you got Timber and you got MLS, the way they're moving, so who's getting past them?
So it sounds like you've won the Champions League.
Nah, what I am saying, whoever wins the Arsenal and PSG fixture, whoever wins the Arsenal and PSG fixture, I think win the competition.
Just deal with Inter Milan. They've already beaten Inter Milan. According to you, you said they're the hardest.
Obviously, Barca's probably Barca.
But they were at Lewandowski.
I would agree with that. I think this side of the tie has the winner. Yeah, has the winner of the Champions League. But PSG presented a different.
Let me ask you. So if now Arsenal play PSG and Arsenal have a very dominant performance against PSG, would you give Arsenal the credit, or would you?
Yeah, I would.
Wait, 1 second.
I'm giving them credit.
Credit for what?
No, but wait, hang on. When have I not?
No, I'm just asking the question now, as in, because obviously we're approaching the game now.
Wait, hang on. What about me would make you think I won't give them credit? Because I'll give them loads of credit for beating Real Madrid.
I'm only asking you just based on what you said about Real Madrid. Obviously, you're saying this was maybe like a underperforming Real Madrid, and I'm saying maybe they underperformed because of Arsenal's performance. So now I'm saying, as much as everyone's rating PSG now, second half of the season, if Arsenal have a dominant performance, you would give credit to Arsenal.
Not that I would, because I'm always going to give credit to Arsenal when they've excelled. But in against PSG, if they come in with the same team,
you like to give us.
No, that's a fair caveat. There should be no caveat though. I think it's worth noting that Real Madrid have been rubbish this season.
It's also worth noting that Arsenal have heavily depleted squad-wise.
Yeah, but that's not.
Saka's like 60-70% at best.
You have to bear in mind that's not what I led with, innit? I'm just talking about this Real Madrid team because I was disappointed because I don't support Arsenal, I don't support Madrid. When I'm coming to watch a Champions League fixture, I want to see the best. And I was disappointed with Real Madrid. But from what I've seen PSG against Aston Villa, against Liverpool, and against Man City, if you played that same team that you played them and you guys dealt with them, I have nothing but superlatives for you guys.
I hear that point. I do hear that point. But in terms of you only play what's in front of you, and Real Madrid with all their stars.
No, I'm not hearing that, bro. I'm not hearing that because you play. Sometimes you come and you play somebody and they're just absolutely horrible. Sometimes you play them and you play a great team that has outplayed you, but you're still able to get it over the line. So you can't just reduce it down to you can only play what's in front of you. This is Champions League.
But I think you hit the nail on the head because you said if that team plays PSG, but it won't be that team playing PSG, and I think that's the worry.
Yeah, true.
The worry is Partey's not playing.
Right.
So, like, for me, that is the biggest. Yeah. If we'd have got out of that game, I think there's a reason why Rice reacted the way that he did.
It
was a silly yellow, wasn't it?
Yeah. What did he do? I was so disappointed with that as well because it was so unnecessary.
But I think the referee was a bit harsh. Like, what did he do?
No, it was a yellow card.
What did he do?
Was he not late?
It was silly.
It was like argy-bargy.
It was argy-bargy.
It
was scrapping,
it was silly though. He just didn't need to get involved there. But
that referee was good.
But I thought he had a good game.
You two all know as Arsenal fans though, because we all
just him.
Me as a football fan, I know what you're talking about. Don't worry.
I mean, essentially, if you watch Arsenal week in, week out, like Partey he's just so understated. He's just such an immense footballer, and like
100%.
He's so key to. He doesn't get the credit that he deserves, and like personally, you know, I'd be begging him to stay for 3 years, let alone 2.
Does he get another contract?
He's paying for the contract, isn't it?
I think he might get one only because Jorginho's definitely leaving.
We're not giving him one.
He should at least get a year plus.
That's what I would do.
Extension, you mean?
Do you think he should take a year when there's going to be offers from other people?
I think
he'd go to Saudi, wouldn't
he?
Yeah. Reality is that's where he'll go. But I think in terms of Enrique, if you're Enrique and you're looking at how you beat Arsenal, I've got no doubt that Enrique will be on the training ground thinking, well, actually, Partey's not playing. So how's that going to affect Arsenal? And it doesn't just affect Arsenal in the way that, you know, we're missing Thomas Partey. It affects Arsenal in as much as, where does that leave Mourinho, like I said earlier? And if you pull Mourinho back, we all know that Trossard is a different proposition up front.
Yeah, for sure.
To Mourinho. So, you know, as an Arsenal fan, it's a bit like we're rearranging the furniture now. And I know that side works, and I know that we go to PSG at the Emirates with Partey playing in centre mid. Is a very different game
for sure
to us.
In the first game Arsenal played PSG, Arsenal played 4-4-2. And I think that's why Arteta went with a 4-4-2 at the weekend.
Yeah.
But obviously the difference this time versus last time was that Odegaard wasn't playing. So I think the midfield two was Partey and Rice.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting.
And just seeing how PSG overran Gravenberch in the middle, it has to be somebody capable of covering distance.
But Rice is going to be in there, and you have to remember that Marino, although he's been playing the false 9 position, he drops back in and he can alternate. So I think
he'll stay up there. To be fair, it's in the club.
I think he'll probably, who goes in midfield?
I think he'll drop in, and I think Trossard will probably play in the 9.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm not as worried as Ross per se, in my opinion. I know Ross can clarify. He can clarify, but I'm not as worried as Ross from what he's purporting himself to be on the episode, because I think either Trossard and Marino will alternate in dropping in, and I think the key to outfoxing PSG is just that overload in the middle, because we're just so much athletically robust and so much bigger than them. That's what my opinion is. I think their best bets. This is what I personally think. Their wingers, I think we can go like machine for machine, as Spray would say, yeah. But then I think if they fullbacks now get involved in the attack, that's when we're probably going to be under threat. So I think it's going to come down to how proficient Martinelli and Saka are. But the key is going to be not letting them get onto us. We have to get onto them. You get what I'm saying? So whoever's basically pinned back, because I think it's gonna be a wide game in my opinion. And then Arsenal, I think we've got the ability to we can play narrow as well, and then we hit you with our wide men. But they do a similar thing.
Yeah, they're gonna definitely try and play
narrow. So they love it.
So you think Kvaratskhelia, is that his name? And Doué and Martinelli and Saka are machine for machine?
Bro, you know what he's trying to say.
No,
he's not saying ability for ability.
Like, the thing is, remember, I rate Martinelli, so he can do that, you know. He can do that, because I will say yeah, bro. Because I rate Martinelli. And the thing is with them, man, yeah, and you see with them, man, they're only going to really, you see like how they kind of got Villa. They was hitting shots from outside the box. You get what I'm saying? They was scoring worldies. Do that against us. We don't mind that. We get scared when you get in behind us. Do that against us.
Yeah.
Wait, man.
So you're literally just counting on the days to PSG.
Bro, I don't mind, bro.
Did anyone watch the Ipswich game?
Yeah.
Nah, okay.
Nah. Yeah, I watched the highlights.
You don't want to talk about it?
Saw them taking that.
Let host.
Saw them taking that Saka, bro.
That's how you know he's a hater, though, isn't it? That's actually how you know he's a hater, bro. Because Joey,
just doing my job.
Because we're talking about one of the best European fixtures that we've seen in more than a few seasons.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And you want to rush it off to watch us smash up at Ipswich.
Yeah. No, I just
you're
want to go. No, actually, I want to go home.
You're actually a bully.
No, I want to go home, bro. I want to go home.
Really. Quickly, before I wrap this, so just 2 things. First one, disappointing from Mbappe, Vinicius, Bellingham, not really turning up.
Yeah, massively.
It's Vinicius, bruv. Do you know what? It's a good thing he didn't win Ballon d'Or, you know. That would have been a travesty to football, bruv.
Well, from those performances.
Bruv, he stinks a lot, you know.
Yeah, he does.
But why are you singling him out? Because
he stunk.
Jude stunk.
Yeah.
But I think there's more of expectation from Vinny. Vinny's a star boy, isn't it?
But Vinny didn't ask to be Ballon d'Or.
The way he did, bro.
Nah,
he definitely did. He said that.
He didn't show up to that.
Yeah, but
he said it was an injustice.
I know, but what has he said though?
He's got post, bro.
No, he hasn't said anything.
He probably said something.
But anyway, forget about that. But my point is that they were all terrible. All the attackers were terrible. And I was mostly disappointed by Jude Bellingham.
I was more disappointed with Vinny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, same. I think his decision making in the final third
was terrible.
In some games, in some important games, it leaves a lot to be desired. And in that game particularly, I was like, I get the Rashford and Vinny comparisons, bro, because at the minute, they're looking the same level of dusty.
Oh, right.
I think Real Madrid are struggling to find a way to integrate Vinny and Mbappe.
It was a silly move, if I'm going to be honest.
Because didn't Mbappe struggle at the beginning of the season as well?
Yeah.
Struggled trying to fit into that team, into that mix.
Added more individual personalities to a team that their focus has been the best individuals in the world.
Exactly.
So you've made a already complicated equation even more complicated, in my opinion.
He has got like 30 plus, or is it 30 plus goals?
No, he scored. Well, don't get me wrong. I'm not doubting his goal scoring
But
ability.
he started getting charity penalties, as Joey would call it.
Always,
Because
obviously, like in Real Madrid, they always had somebody who was willing to sacrifice for the rest of the team playing up front. They don't have a facilitator now, so you've got somebody who. There was one chance where Vinny was running through on the right and Mbappe was through, and then Vinny just cut it on the inside.
Yeah.
Like it was a clear goal scoring opportunity, but because this is my team according to Vinny, and Mbappe is just trying to establish himself in the team. So
it's a team of individuals rather than a team of
essentially. Yeah.
It's been that for a while though.
But we could also just be underestimating that they were probably under immense pressure as well, because you got to think about it. Like, as much as it's not them doing it, their teams, the upper staff, whoever's in the social media team, they're building up this fixture like comeback kings, Remontada.
Yeah, because it's Real Madrid, isn't it?
Yeah, and obviously, if anyone puts, we put like immense pressure on Real Madrid because their own fans put immense pressure on Real Madrid, so to speak. So the players must have been feeling it at some point as well.
Yeah, but that's why you go. If you go to Real Madrid, you have to expect these things.
100%.
What's Remontada? You said that a couple of times.
Remontada means comeback in Spanish.
Okay.
Because they've done it, Because I think Ronaldo did it like 15 or plus years ago or something like that. Like that's what they were.
But we all know anyway, Arsenal to ship 3 goals in the Champions League was always going to be a high feat for whatever.
It's hard ask.
Oh boy, the group chats weren't sounding like that, boy. He lot was telling me to be careful.
No, what we were saying, what the group will probably saying is that if they get the first goal, it'll be interesting. This guy's blowing.
Alright, before I
blowing Malbec breath.
Before I move away from this game, just one final question: What does that win mean in terms of Arteta's project and like moving on to the next stage now?
No, let us take this win.
Does it mean that because they've reached that level, they just now need to go all the way?
No, I mean, personally, I don't think it's like some sliding doors moment where it's like, well, look, now, I think that...
You need an accolade, right? Like you got the performances there.
On top. Yeah, answer the question, isn't it?
I think we do, but I think the reality of life is you've got to be pragmatic about the fact that, every year it's incredibly difficult to win it. And every year it's incredibly difficult to win the Champions League. So the reality is he's just gone and absolutely demolished an Ancelotti side. So whether you agree or disagree that it's the greatest Madrid side that's ever lived, perhaps it's not. But the reality is it's still Madrid. And, Arteta has absolutely gone out and demolished, that Madrid side with, 17-year-old, 18-year-old players,
Yeah.
The fact that Skelly's involved in that is just unfathomable for him, what a player. So I think that, for me, I don't think it's like some sliding doors moment, but if you said like, are Arsenal finding the next gear? I'd say, yeah, we're finding gear 3.
Yeah.
I'd say that we're getting to that stage where, you're looking at PSG and you're thinking, actually, we're not far off winning this now, And I don't know about you, but I haven't really felt like that before.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't understand legalese, you're saying they're winning the Champions League.
Basically, yeah. I was trying to get something out of Ross. This is what happens when you're a lawyer. You know what to say.
Well, no, I don't. Listen, I think that they can win it, but like I say, I think a lot of it is going to be about, look, if we can get through the Emirates and we can get to Paris and we get Party back in the side, I reckon we can do it.
I think you need to do what you did almost to Real Madrid. Start on like the right foot at the Emirates. Do what you need to do your business. And then PSG, just...
Do you?
What's that?
What do you think? You think they'll do it?
Arsenal?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm quietly confident Arsenal can do it.
All the way or just PSG?
Yeah, all the way.
Declan Rice only has to hit another 2 free kicks as well in the first leg. That'd be fine. That'd be great.
Yeah, obviously he's not done that for most of his lifetime. So what else for a lot? I think Arsenal will get past PSG. I think hopefully Barcelona beat Inter Milan because I think Arsenal it'll be a hard final for Arsenal against Inter just because of the way Inter play. Fair enough, Barcelona have all these players. Even if they have Lewandowski back, I think it's still a
spicier.
It's still a better fight for Arsenal.
Question, Ross, because you mentioned Skelly just earlier as well. You don't have to answer this now. You can take your time for the pod and just maybe get back to me in the pod.
I don't know.
No
comment.
You mentioned Skelly. I just wondered, like, who would Skelly's a wonder kid, right? Who else would you think is a wonder kid in Arsenal's squad? If
what in the first team or the 18s?
Just
or?
overall,
in the first team, in the squad. Let's just say the squad.
Yeah, okay. So I would probably say from my opinion is on what I've seen. I think Nwaneri.
Come on.
He's been watching. He must have been watching the pod.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
I'll give you a debrief.
I'll say this because obviously I was at Preston away, which is like the first time that we really got. We were at Preston North End away, and it was the first time that we really got to see Nwaneri. And I mean, he turned up and just bossed the game. And I know it's Preston, but I was sort of like sold at that point. I was like, this kid's just unbelievable. He's going to be phenomenal. Given a chance, I'd say Skelly is just like on a different planet.
Yeah, he's different
at the moment. And look, that will plateau. Ain't going to stay like that forever.
Yeah.
He's got a mistake in him. He's been sent off a couple of times. That will plateau. Yeah. Obviously, like I said to one of you guys earlier, like, I mean, there's some amazing talent in the youth team that's coming through. That's, so like there's a kid in the 18s called Ife Ibrahim who's phenomenal. Max Dowman.
Yeah, that's one I hear about.
Just like,
15, right? Or 16 now.
15.
Yeah,
I mean, I would imagine that he'll be in the first team or the first team squad next year. You'll start to see him in Carling Cup games next year, I'd imagine. So, yeah, I mean, they've got an absolute plethora of
Man
talent.
United don't try and offer him a fortune.
Yeah, that's what we normally do.
But if that was a smoking gun in relation to Nwaneri, I'll rate Nwaneri if that's what that was about.
Yeah. Well, I rate him as well. I rate him as this wonderkid status is in debate at the minute.
Because you're talking about
guys, man, they've been frustrated. They're not trying to rate Ethan.
That's not true. No, that's not true, bro.
So what we said, what
we were saying is that is he warranted having wonderkid status as of yet? Because he hadn't.
Yeah, but he does definitely. That's never been a question.
No, but we as
he's telling on you.
Arsenal fans for sure had seen
hang on. Remember, the conversation was if he's a wonder kid, your mouth shouldn't be in that same category.
Yeah, that was it.
Anyway, because we're talking about Nwaneri, we'll quickly move on.
Sorry, just a quick one. Do you know who the favourites are for the Champions League to lift the title?
Well, I mean, considering we knocked out Real Madrid, they're the champions. We're like, I don't know if you lot watch WWE, but if you beat the champion, you become the champion. So where did the kings of Europe? If you ask me,
Barcelona 2-1, PSG 9-4, Arsenal 5-2, and Inter Milan 9-2. So I actually thought you guys would be the favourites.
Who's 2-1? Barcelona.
2-1 Barcelona. Yeah.
Oh, they shouldn't be favourites.
But to be fair, like I can understand that. Barcelona's been immense this season. I can understand that. But
so I'm definitely putting $1,000 on Arsenal to win it.
That's probably going to be money well spent.
All right, quickly, before we got to wrap up this segment.
I'm not a financial advisor.
Obviously, talking about Nwaneri, obviously you guys piped Ipswich 4-0. Just quickly, so that team that he's picked, is that with one eye also on the PSG game coming up to try and make sure that he's got a bit of consistency moving on to the Champions League game? Ross?
Well, he won't be playing Zinchenko left back.
No, of course not. No. He was obviously playing a lot of subs as well. But in terms of just, obviously with Partey being out and stuff, he just wants to make sure he's got like a team solid enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all had like a heart in mouth moment when Xhaka went down and it was again,
That's horrible.
And and that's the other thing as well, because like football changes so quickly, doesn't it? So we got Palace during the week. We could be having a different conversation Thursday morning. You just don't know, what does he do? Newcastle not that far behind us. Do we play a first 11 or does he put Nwaneri in and potentially take Saka out and give him a rest? Or
yeah,
so there's a lot. But I mean, I would imagine that he's obviously got one eye on PSG with that side of Ipswich, and he's probably, I would imagine, I don't know, obviously, he's in charge, not me, but I would imagine that he's sort of trying to work out the dynamic of what he's going to do in that midfield. Because I hear what you say about this sort of the physique difference between the Arsenal 11 and PSG, but I mean, they've got some great players, PSG.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, Emre is, they've got some phenomenal talent at PSG. So,
100%. I'm not like dismissing them. I'm just rating Arsenal, man. I'm just putting some respect on Arsenal's name. That's all I'm trying to do today.
It's about time.
Yeah, fair.
Wow.
Just FYI, Tottenham are currently losing to Nottingham Forest.
What's the score?
No shock.
It's 2-1. Tottenham are at home, by the way, just FYI. So keeping Man United away from 17th, which is great. Love that.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Well, I think it'd be fitting now, Marley Moore, to move on to.
Oh, it's for us.
Yeah.
Oh, right before Liverpool. Oh.
Yeah, we leave Liverpool for what happened midweek as well.
It's 2-1, by the way.
The real remontada of the week.
It shouldn't have been though.
It shouldn't have been.
It shouldn't have been.
That was the real comeback of the week.
It shouldn't have been at half time.
Celebrating that.
But bro, how can you say sip?
Whoa.
Hold on, we'll get into this.
That's unfair, Della.
No, it's not. It's like
What did he say? You said it's sickening that you're celebrating.
No, because like
Qualifying into the next round of the European tournament.
No, that's not what I said.
Because I hate what he's saying.
Why? Okay,
you're celebrating that, but you're ignoring it's paving over some cracks. The mere fact that you conceded 4 goals at home, 2 of those came when you had 10 men. And we did a Remontada. You should have never been in that place in the first place. But fair play, you came back. That's cool.
I mean, got over
but
it.
that's the same. But that's there's bigger things that you're not seeing there.
I agree. At 2-0, I was sending a voice note saying, to Mex and May.
You switch over to watch the other games.
No, I didn't switch over.
Imagine if Liverpool did that 3-0 down against AC Milan.
Yeah,
come on,
man. It would be crazy.
No, but I'm just saying,
not
it's that
disputing
kind of scoreline.
I'm saying
you're winning 2-0.
Keep hope alive, man.
Like if you're winning 2-0 and someone said, it's 4-2 now, and they didn't tell you any score, you're thinking, we're winning 4-2.
Yeah.
You'll never know.
Remontada.
Yeah, Remontada, bro. We need to
all
get.
I'm saying is you don't try to jump onto Della.
Let's give Marley Mile.
No, I was just
let him talk,
yeah, no, I was just gonna say it's a beautiful game, man. This is what we tune in for, man. We watch it for entertainment like this, man. And obviously, Man United providing a lot of entertainment for people this season, isn't it?
For sure.
Like 2-0 up at half time.
Yeah.
I was sending voice notes to Mex and Matty, friends of the pod, saying we need to see this out. But obviously, Man United are also capable of having a wobbly, bruv. I didn't expect the wobbly to come in the fashion that it did. Obviously, they equaled, got 2-2 in the 90th minute with a man sent off. And then bruv, the extra time was just
the roller coaster.
It was just madness, bro. I haven't Man United, the way they've played this season. I've kind of detached myself emotionally to the results, particularly in the Premier League, because obviously you're probably going to get to the fact that we lost on the weekend as well, yeah?
Yeah, of course. but you've said it many a times, the Premier League has been firmly out of your mind.
It's written off, but also at the same time, you don't enjoy seeing
your team lose.
Seeing your team lose. Because I said it a few pods back, maybe even a month prior, that the Premier League is written off in it, and obviously Europa League is what we're playing for. That's what we're resting our hope for the season on. But to that point, you still do not want to see your team lose, particularly at home, to Wolves in the manner in which we did in a game that we dominated and we had chances as well. So that's the Wolves game. But
did you play the kids in that game?
We played some, but also we
rested a few.
We rested a few, but the nature of the subs that Ruben made, let's just say in the 60th minute, gave the indication that it's not a throwaway game. We want to win the game, innit? Like Bruno came on. Who else? Bruno came on.
Because he told us he's playing the kids.
He did play the kids. He did play the kids. But
Tyreek Mitchell or whatever. What's his name?
Who?
Tyreek
Mitchell, bruv.
Who's that?
I just saw someone playing left back for you that I didn't recognize. Who?
Oh, Amas. Great game. Great player.
He played great. And that Frederic.
I don't know his name, but he played.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Also played.
That's the one. That's the guy's name who I butchered. Those were the only 2 players that you can. Are they even children?
Garnacho's a child.
Yeah.
Mainu's a child.
Come on, man.
Are they not children? What's happening here?
The rest of your team was your normal squad.
Yeah. But
they're children though.
Marley, let's just ignore this Wolves game, bro.
Come on, man.
Question, but what's your thoughts on his approach to that? Bear in mind, I think you're
to the Premier League.
To the Premier League, and the mere fact he said, I'm just going to play the kids. Bear in mind, your game is in 2 weeks.
No, I'm not angry. I'm not particularly angry. As I said, I recognize that the Premier League is done. Like the games, like if we could end it now, then end it now. But also, I would like to see the team winning. Like that's the thing. And I think my problem with Ruben at the minute is that he's written off the season completely. Like in the he's completely written off. And I think I think for me, I would like to see a coach. Like, I understand that he hasn't got the players that he needs to play the system that he wants to play. But at the same time, I think that as a coach that's supposed to be a generational coach, he's supposed to be the next best thing. I think he should have another plan as well, 100%. outside of what his preferred plan is. Because at the end of the day, like, say for instance, like next season, he gets to play all the players he wants. All right, they're in the system now, they're playing well. And then he has injuries. Is he gonna say that? All right, I ain't got to play as I want, so I'm gonna throw away the season again? No, a good coach should be able to go to a plan B. And I think like now he should be trying to see what he can do with what he's got.
Wait, hang on, Pep never goes to plan B.
Pep wins.
But you said a good coach should be able to go to plan B. So if you master something, your plan A. There's an argument to say that you don't have to go to a plan B.
When you say Pep hasn't got a plan B, he may he does tweak the formation slightly. Or his approach.
Rarely.
But I think he doesn't do it.
Once they get into the flow, like, you know, Man City notoriously take a while to get started in the season. But once they get into their flow of that plan that Pep has mastered, they play that until the wheels fall off. So I'll kind of disagree. Well, not disagree, but there's an argument to say that you can master your plan A.
You can, but to that point,
it's not delivering.
That's what I was gonna say. My personal opinion of that plan A is that he's been there for a while now, and I haven't seen the value of this system that he's so insistent on. This is what it's gonna be moving forward. I haven't seen the benefit of it yet, as of yet. I don't see the value of what that five at the back of the wing.
What if he said that when he's coming in? Like, you're not going to see the value of this, and they're like, we still want you to come in, and he kind of, because the way he's playing, it's like he has a blank check to do anything he wants, because
it would appear so.
He's under the understanding that I'm not going to deliver what Man United.
But I don't think they thought it would have been as bad as this in the league. Though.
Yeah. But then because they made so many bad decisions, getting rid of him would be like the icing on the shit cake.
But I was going to say, do you think he needs to adopt more of like a plan B, what he did in the Europa? When the times got tough, he just...
What, Maguire up top?
Is that your plan?
Do you know what I mean? That's what I mean.
But
even in a Prem game.
To that, but yeah, I do. Obviously, the Maguire up top is, to be honest, is working. Let's be honest, like, because
I did say it.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. When you're looking at Højlund, like making the silliest runs off the ball movement. What are you gonna say, bro?
Yeah. I know. When you said it's working, what do you mean? Because he scored that goal. Like, how many times has Maguire?
It's working in comparison to Højlund, because Højlund is absolutely not working right now.
But it's just worked once, right?
It's worked once. The last time he played, he actually had
the FA Cup, Leicester.
He had a good sniff in front of goal, like a really good sniff. And I think the last time he done it, so I finished the third.
Nottingham Forest.
He's had a couple of sniffs, and this is the first time he's actually scored up there. So I say all that to say it's working in comparison to Højlund, who absolutely is not working, and who's getting chances.
And we changed the way we played, Della. So in terms of, like normally 9 times out of 10, I'd say the balls that we put in the box are normally low on the floor. When he's in there, we're whipping them in because we've got a focal point. We've got a guy who can head the ball as well. So we're switching it up a little bit. And that's my whole point that I was saying to Marley, that if we maybe just sat down and thought, okay, all right, do your formation, but when it's not going right, then let's just revert to a bit extreme. Like you've got a little bit to play with. No one's going to really judge you in your first season because you're not going anywhere. And you're saying that, you need time and you need to do this.
But it's a bit different though when you're in the last throws of a game and you put a centre back.
But why is it different against Wolves though? If we are losing 1-0,
is that what they did against? Oh, because maybe you can do it in the last throws of the games as well. But people don't consider that as a
no. I'm not saying to start. But Marley's saying he almost doesn't change things enough.
Yeah, it's not being changed enough. And if it is this case of like, he's written off the season. He recognises the players are dead. He knows that come summer he's going to be able to get in his own guys that are going to be completely different to the guys. And to be honest, for that to be the approach, he needs to get rid of 75% of the guys.
And I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen either. So I don't know, man. It's tough. I've been like, obviously, like when we was heading out of the tournament. Like, people were saying Ruben out. Like, I'm not going to name no names, innit? But you know who you are.
No, that's names. Have they been on this pod?
Hey, man. There was a couple of Rubens out, innit? And obviously, it turned on the head when he was able to turn it around. But hey, man, it's tough right now. I'm not Ruben out right now. However,
would you blame them though for being Ruben out though?
No, of course not. If we got knocked out of Europa, and then, for instance, like, we finished 17th in the league.
Crazy.
My position is like, he hasn't brought anything. Like, so why would I fight for this brother?
So if you get knocked out by Bilbao, what are you saying?
It's a possibility. It's a possibility,
Like, the
man.
only way you can really like not sound the way you sound is if you win the Europa.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think that's what most Man United fans are banking on. They need some. They need.
Don't bank on it. Do not bank on it, bro. Just hope.
No, we can win that. We can win that. We can win that. Nico Williams is out now as well.
But
Is he out?
Yeah,
he's
he's
injured.
injured. He's out for the season.
Injured.
It's a bit scattergun at United, isn't it? I think
Yeah.
that's the problem. It's a bit scattergun. I can't really work out, like, sort of, there's not really an identity, is there? It just seems like, it's like a Sunday League team where like they've just drafted in a load of players because a load of them have been out on the piss the night before, you know?
But previously, but you think that's the approach now though? Because now you can see that we're bringing in like a lot of young.
No, because remember we're so disappointed in Ineos. I don't support United, but like it's like you own another club. Why are you coming here and behaving like you've never like run a club before?
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Like their approach is so insane.
Who do they own in France?
Is it Nice?
Nice, yeah.
And how's
yeah.
Nice? Like, do we know how they were in Nice?
So I know Nice definitely went up. I don't know where they are now, but there was an upturn in Nice.
Yeah,
before,
and then it
so
kind of plateaued.
the decisions that they've made at Man United, they're just
They're fifth in the French.
they just don't,
They had
don't make
Vieira
any
for a while,
sense.
didn't they? No?
Yeah. The decisions just don't make any sense here, man.
But
So,
I was going to say, Marley, as well, I can't go without actually giving Casemiro his flowers for that Europa game.
You can.
no, you 100%.
No, you know
You need to give him flowers in that game.
I hear that.
Then I apologize.
Nah, bro. Won a penalty, assisted both of those goals.
Yeah, Casemiro. It's unfortunate we got Casemiro at the stage of his career that he's at, because off the ball, like, we know Casemiro, he can't get about it. Like, we know that. But like on the ball and then on set pieces, Casemiro, bruv, is one of the best in the world, bruv.
Sit down,
Bruv,
man. He's not the best at anything in the
At
world,
what?
man.
You said
Bruv,
at set pieces. I'm like,
Bruv, on the ball, his delivery into the box
his
is
delivery of set pieces.
Delivery.
No,
and also
what on the end of set pieces. In the box is a nuisance. He's always on the end of stuff.
always
like-
headers.
Best in the world, you said, right?
Best in the world,
He's one of the best. Is that there, B?
Okay.
Is that there, man? But off the ball, he's is what we see in it. Is what we see, bro. But yeah, no, Casemiro is top, man. Like I was.
Wait till Don hears this.
No. I was of the opinion that we should obviously ship him out, but he's not one of the players that need to be shipped out like and expedited. Like
I swear, a couple of months
he
ago,
does.
you
No,
know what I'm
but
talking
the reason I say is not is because his mentality and his character in the dressing room is better than having one of these guys that ain't performing, bruv. Like, it's like a Lindelof, for instance. Like, you know how I feel about Lindelof, bruv.
But
Like,
focus on your midfield. If he, why does he have to stay?
I don't say he
He
has to
said
stay.
he should be at the first of the list to be kicked out of the club.
Yeah.
But who in the midfield should be then?
In the midfield, no, there's more players. There's other players.
No,
There's
no,
other players like Hoyland, if you can get
Midfield,
good.
that's
No,
it.
midfield.
That's what because Casemiro's
Ericsson
midfielder.
needs to go.
Eriksen,
Played so many
Eriksen's
games for us.
Just Ericsson.
Just
Mason
Eriksen.
Mount. No,
Nah,
Mason
Mount's not
No,
there.
I thought so, mate.
He actually fits Amorim's system.
He just needs more games.
No, but
I'm
just
midfield necessarily is not. Sorry, not in like in terms of the players that need to be shipped out. Like, Casemiro is not first to the list, is what I'm saying.
But he does need to be shipped out.
I mean, if we can get some money and get him off the books and get a replacement, then for sure. But I think there's other areas of our team that need to be addressed.
Yeah, 100%.
More importantly than our
Because you've got to
midfield.
remember, Dele, as well, that there's a lot of trash that we need to get rid of. But at the same
he's
time,
one of them.
Yeah,
Dele-
no,
Dele-
but
you
listen,
gotta remember
listen.
He's not trash.
You got to remember that.
No. We have criticised him, but Ruben
Trash,
has
bro.
also
Casemiro's trash.
bro.
Ruben has tinkered him into this system a little bit different where he plays, right? But my thing is, if you get rid of the trash, which there's a lot more trash than him at the moment, our squad at the moment is woeful.
Yeah.
It's thin line. So you do, like Marley Mar said, you do need that experience in there as well. And I'm not saying that he will play like every game and Ruben gets all his 11 back.
Oh, so you think you should keep him next season?
I think we should keep him one more season.
But
Yeah.
my question to you guys,
I'm not mad at it.
I'm sure at the beginning of the season, or maybe early in the season, you guys were someone called
this
him
guy right here.
like he's a kebab owner, something along those
That's
lines.
it, yeah.
A kebab shop owner.
Yeah.
And then now you're saying he's had good performance, but you guys are still 17th and you just struggle to beat.
It's not Casemiro's fault.
No,
Yeah.
So what has he contributed?
No, but the thing is, when you say we struggle to beat Wolves, we struggle to beat Wolves because
not Wolves. So you're still
I know, but
17th.
I'm just saying the game recently. I was saying to Ross before the pod, we had like 28 crosses into the box. We couldn't even put one away. Like Højlund madly struggling. We've got no one up top that can put goals away. We're relying on others in the midfield or on the wings to add to those goals. And then obviously when we're not scoring goals, everyone's like, oh, you lot are crap. But we know, like, just like Arsenal are crying out for a striker, Man United have been crying out for at least.
But you bought
like, how many strikers?
You lot bought Xerxes.
Yeah, but he's injured.
And you bought Højlund for 76 million.
We bought Højlund, but
so you can't be crying out for a striker.
But the thing is,
no
one.
We can. Why can't we if they're not good enough?
Because you're buying strikers.
But they're not good enough. So
like, Arsenal aren't buying strikers, so they can cry.
But they got Moreno. They got Moreno, bro. They got someone that can fill a hole, bro.
You need to cry out for a new ownership.
Yeah, 100%. And we both know that.
Yeah,
and you also need to get rid of Casemiro as well.
Can I ask a question about this Casemiro?
We don't need to get Casemiro. We don't need to get rid of it. That's not one of our massive problem areas.
The Men in Black memory flash thing is happening. You've decided to forget everything that's happened for the last 2 seasons.
Comeback.
No, Casemiro has been playing. When it's been called on this season, Casemiro has not been a problem in our squad.
In recent, what are his recent games that he's played, and who was the midfield pivot?
Oh, come on, man.
No, that's what I know. Because it's like, you guys, you've still lost.
Shut up.
I think it's probably Ugarte and
no, but you should know that if you're
Casemiro
saying he should stay though. Like,
No, but I know I've know his performances, and my view of Casemiro this season, as I've seen him,
not this
is that
season, just recently, because at the start of the season you had a bad view of him.
He was fat this season. He looked like a kebab.
Okay,
now he's slimmed down,
now,
innit?
So
now he's slimmed down, bro. Have you seen
no,
it, bro?
because you keep on forgetting that. It's been
fat players may have moments as well. Look at Trent, man.
Yeah, Trent was looking slapping volleys on the left foot.
But you also got to remember when he came as well, his first season, he was
Joe, with all
right.
due respect, I think you've got to remember, bro.
No,
you've got to remember that
I'm not doubting it. But the thing is,
you wanted him out, bro.
I wanted him out when he came back from injury.
This season.
He wasn't fit. You could tell he had overeaten. He wasn't taking it seriously.
Yeah.
Bro, he
you don't
was
think
playing
that can happen again?
So
No,
my
I think it
question
can
is,
happen again.
how many games of recent have you seen him? He's like, okay, he's now back. Because if the first half of the season you wanted him
we're
out.
not saying back, bro.
He's
saying back.
What we're saying is that he's not the massive liability at the club. Like,
you said that he should be there next season as well.
No. I said I don't mind if he is at the club next season.
But is there a singular liability at your club though?
Is there a singular? Yeah, I'll have a striker, bro.
No, you said Lindelof before as well.
but Lindelof, he's on the way.
Yeah, but Lindelof never plays. But Lindelof, I've just got a dislike for Lindelof whenever I see him, bro. Like, I don't think he's good enough to be at our club. And I don't view Casemiro in that mode because as I said, like, in terms of like his attitude, like he doesn't.
He's probably a winner, I get it.
He's a winner, and I think like people like him. The only issue with him is obviously he's on high wages, isn't it? That's the massive problem. So for that reason, if we was to get him off the books, I would understand. But he's not one of the liabilities that I view as being like needing to be out of the club. Is my point.
Because what I would say to you, Molimar, if you got someone like Cherki, 25 million release clause, Man United are crying out for a striker. He proved against Man United he didn't have a great game at all. Over both games, he actually played crap.
He played but
he scored.
Yeah.
He's not a striker though.
I know, but in terms of we need these players at our club. Like,
Great left foot, though, isn't he?
Yeah. Left and right. Because they were saying he takes corners on both sides with both foot.
He would definitely fit into Amorim's system as one of the attacking
Number 10
midfielders behind the striker.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you think about Cunha as well? Do you think he could fit in? Because apparently there's rumours.
Yeah, Fabrizio is talking about positive talks today with Cunha. I mean, based on what we saw at the weekend against Wolves, you saw them going into the dugout and Ruben like running up to him and tapping him in.
Tapping him up.
Yeah, like do you know what I mean? Like, you don't read into things, but sometimes like you know what I mean, there's no smoke without fire. And my boy Mex saw him at the airport and tapped him up.
So Ross, when you see like things like that with I don't know, after the PSG game with Liverpool and PSG and the owner was talking to Van Dijk, or you see like an Amorim run up to Cunha, and you hear that Man United are in talks with Osimhen, like, if you hear something like that about your players, what do you think? Or are you just thinking this is a crock of shit, or maybe like something's going on that you're not aware of?
Well, I mean, on the particular subject of Cunha, I mean, I think the reality is everybody knows why the United managers approached him, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, because it just gets him in with a shout, and he's a little bit closer to the player. He's a little bit closer to, you know, potentially family, whatever it might be, you know. So I guess, I mean, it's hard to read too much into these things because, you know, I think for United, Cunha makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For United. And I don't mean this disrespectfully, but I mean, is it going to get any better than Cunha? At the
a good
moment.
question.
Yeah,
That's true.
But yeah. My criticism with Man United as well is that we haven't we've signed a lot of unknowns from other leagues for a crazy amount of money, and it's like they come into the league and it's like there's a period of bedding in for them in the league. They need to get up to speed with how the league, the pace of it, and then once they have got up to the pace of it, you realise that they're not even at the level to play in this league anyway. So my criticism is that we don't sign enough players within the league anyway.
Yeah.
So Cunha, someone that is delivering and looking pretty decent in our league, is someone that we should be profiling.
Yeah,
bro.
exactly. And
Like,
I was gonna say as well, if any team has learned anything out there, always buy players that have played in the Prem already as well,
Yeah.
because you kind of have that. What can I say? You've seen them play. You've seen them play in the Prem,
The
so
Prem
you know
already,
how they
yeah,
perform. Yeah, exactly.
You got the experience.
So whereas when you go out and buy other players from other leagues, you're not really too certain. But I also feel at the same time, United will go down a path where it won't be the superstars that they buy. It will be the unknowns.
Do you think it might be burnt from Mason Mount though?
Yeah, they'd
I
be,
don't think so. Bro.
they'd be a little bit burnt. But I think for him, it's more like just being unfit.
Yeah, it's just
and then,
unfit,
like
innit?
you said, he's probably going to fit better into this system than
Yeah.
Ten Hag.
Yeah, him and Cherki would be decent behind.
Yeah, I mean, a decent Mount is, if he can stay fit, I mean, it would be. I wouldn't want to see him starting, but he's definitely a good squad player for sure. Like Cunha, that's a starter for me.
Yeah.
Like,
I think Liverpool should be looking at Cunha as well. To be
I think
honest.
there'll be a lot of
every
teams
club.
in for him. There'll be a lot of teams.
Why
in.
would Cunha want to just go out one table position to Manchester United? It's
Yeah,
just
that's
confusing.
that
it's
is a bit
still
mad.
it's still Man United. Like, even if we are where we are, bruv, like we've still got about 5 years of at least
Well, that's-
finishing 17 and
I was
still
gonna
playing
say,
Man
prestige.
United.
It's a phase one signing, isn't it? Like Arteta did things in his, when he first came in, and I thought, why is he signing him?
Yeah.
You know, like you
Care
have
to
phase,
give an example?
you have phase one.
Willian.
That one I didn't understand.
Didn't get Willian. We signed Cedric
Ah, yes, that's a perfect
from
example.
Southampton.
Yeah.
We signed
Murray.
sorry,
Pablo
Mari.
Yeah.
Mari. We signed from Italy at the time. Obviously, I think that was just a City connection because I think he'd originally been at City when Arteta was there. But I think you have, Arteta talks a lot, doesn't he, about, this is phase 3, we're aiming for phase 5. And, then, it's probably not an exact science, but there's probably a little bit of truth in that. In as much as, like, for United, if you go and get Cunha and I don't know if they'd play him as a 10 or, I'm not sure in his system where he'd play, probably as a 10, right?
Yeah, it'd be one of
On the
the
left.
tens. Yeah, it'd be one of the tens.
So,
But we was even looking at him though, so
We was looking at him for a while though, even before he went to
Yeah,
Wolves.
yeah.
Like we was linked for ages, and at the time I remember looking at him and thinking, nah, this guy ain't it, bro.
well, to be fair, I mean, he's actually the reason for the goal the other day, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Because the keeper was obviously totally fooled because he thought that Cunha was going to take the free
Yeah,
kick.
exactly. Yeah,
And then Sarabia stepped up and took it.
yeah. He sent Lindelof to the shops as well.
Yeah,
Oh
he
my
did,
god,
man.
bro, I
That's
couldn't
crazy.
believe it, bro.
But I was going to say as well, we should give the Wolves manager a shout out.
Yeah, was that five wins on the spin or something?
Yeah,
it's
like
insane.
Vítor Pereira. He's basically got them back to, like, what is it, like one position just under United, and they were in the doghouse and he took them over.
No, same points.
Yeah,
Yeah, same
yeah,
points,
you
yeah.
guys are on the same point.
Yeah.
Wolves.
And that's what I say. It's like we look at that and it's like bro, like Ruben, this isn't good enough, bro. Like managers are playing the same system as you
Yeah.
and they're getting results, bro. Like what's happening here?
But the thing is, on that note, I think the one thing I would say, you got to look at it holistically,
Yes.
like very much, because that wouldn't necessarily happen at United. Wolves are a pretty individual club. A lot of the players that they got are Portuguese. It's a very Portuguese connection.
Yeah.
And they got him for a reason. And Mendes brokered that deal.
Yeah.
Ronaldo's Mendes.
Yeah.
George Mendes.
He brokered the deal for that manager. So it's very particular circumstances, you know.
Yeah.
And I've read that he's done. I read an article in the New York Times about what he'd done, and he's introduced, some fairly basic stuff that's made a difference. Like, for instance, the team have to stay in a hotel the night before an away game,
Yeah.
which they weren't doing historically.
Yeah.
He's making them eat together. He's obviously there's obviously a network of Portuguese players, and they're all spending a lot of time together. So I think, holistically, it's quite easy, isn't it?
Yeah. Ten
But to that point, Ross, don't you think, however long, and he's been there shorter than Ruben.
Yeah.
So surely Ruben's been there for half the season. Surely he could have made some small changes that would have made United, a bit better. But if anything, it's got worse in terms of the league position.
Yeah, I agree.
But
is it living in chaos, Dave?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Is it living in chaos? It's a bit like my front room when I get home from work with the kids. Like can't see the wood for the trees, can you? You don't know what. It's very difficult to work out what the hell's going on. Like I think obviously sometimes, it's quite hard to distill things at Man United, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you've got the noise from the fans about Ratcliffe and they don't really want him and they want him out, and then you've got Neville on Sky moaning about stuff. Whatever way you look, there's so much chaos. It's quite hard to work out.
Yeah.
But for me, what is the actual problem in all the noise? You can't really. It's hard to work out, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you got all like the personalities and then the hierarchies. Like maybe because he's Portuguese, he can go into a Portuguese situation and then they'll respect him and he can say we have to eat together. But if like a ETH comes into United atmosphere, Ruben comes in with his team and he's saying we have to do these things, and there's just sometimes a bit of lack of disrespect or like, have you earned our respect yet?
Well, he's a manager.
But it's his job to make sure
it's
that
almost
those
like
things
they flourish from what they kind of know. Because they're all Portuguese, he's Portuguese.
I think we're just giving him excuses personally.
Yeah, we'll see next season.
Yeah, we'll see next
Ruben.
season. Yeah.
I don't think we're giving him. Who's giving him excuses?
The conversation we're having right now.
No one's giving excuses. I think we're pretty honest about what we expect from this guy.
No, I definitely just gave an excuse.
Ruben, well, I mean, the fans ain't. Man United fans ain't giving this guy any excuses.
You are pretty patient with him, though.
Yeah, we
have to
but
be.
I can understand.
We ain't got no money.
I can understand to some extent why, because obviously he wanted to come in the summer and etc. etc. However, I mean, the level he's performing at, man, I think for a club of Manchester United's caliber, I don't know that should be ever acceptable.
I mean, but we all agree that. We all agree that.
But then I think that it lends to Della's point when he says that there's excuses being made for him, because Della's just holding him to account as he would any manager that's performing that drastically poor. Whereas you guys are kind of just saying, well, this, well, that, and the X, Y, and Z.
My thing is not so much the results, it's just the performance. Because if he's coming to a shit show, I understand that it's going to take you a while to
He's not showing he can be pragmatic, though, isn't he?
No, that's what I'm saying, because I always use the example of Arteta when he first came in. Yes, Arsenal weren't getting the results, but you can see what he was trying to do. Now, he's had half a season and you still can't see what he's trying to do. And everyone's saying when he gets his players, but the difference is...
To Ruben, you don't think you can see what he's trying to do?
Can you see what he's trying to do?
I can see what he's trying to do. I just think he's dead at the minute.
No, that's but he's playing 3-4-3, but it's...
You can see what he's trying to do, but you can't see what he's trying to do with his
all you can see is that he's changed the formation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's it. Yeah, he's... Your style of play, how you...
I can see.
It's just literally just the mere fact that you've changed your formation from 4-3-3 to now 3-4-3, and he refuses to change. He's very pragmatic in that way. But ultimately, performance-wise, if that's what he wants to make, performance-wise, it's not good. My thing, if I was a fan, I don't really care for the results because obviously we're in a rebuilding phase, but show me some performances. Yeah. And the performance is not there. Like, you can be 17th, okay, maybe we lost because the team was a bit better than us. But at least you performed. But all the games that you've lost, you deserve to lose. Yeah. And some of the games you won, you probably didn't deserve to win it, but you was fortunate to win it. And that's not good.
Yeah, I don't know. As I said, like, my feelings of Ruben, I just said them on the pod, but I also think like it is also important to say is that our attack is not helping him at all, bro. Like, it's not.
Well, you can say that, but then Arteta's got midfielder scoring goals.
But he looks better than his Hoyland.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So as a manager, please manage.
Yeah, but Arteta's had 5 seasons for them to adopt that system and strategy.
No, but he's still got a midfielder scoring goals.
Had 5 seasons with Marino, though.
No, but my whole point is you've said before that how the system that they play is so embedded now that you can put a player in there and they can kind of like push on with it. So come on, it's his first season. So you're expecting like to throw other players in there and just go, first
season with players that ain't his as well. Like,
just don't expect.
Of course. No, I'm not
expecting him to be Mikel Arteta. I'm not expecting him to be Pep. I'm not expecting him to be Klopp. I'm not expecting him to be Arne Slot. I'm just not expecting him to be 17th, bro, or wherever he is.
I agree that the league position is definitely not great, but I also, it's important to say that it's these ain't these players.
But you see,
and he's got 2 strikers.
I don't think it's on slots.
No, but
Klopp has signed well. Is it?
But
like, regardless of that, who's your first 11? Could you name them?
No,
I couldn't tell you. I mean, yeah, I can.
Don't do it. Don't.
No, you don't
No?
need to. I was just
Don't
saying.
do it,
Yeah,
bro.
no, I probably
I'm
can.
just
If they're all fit, I could.
I mean, look, I probably don't watch enough United.
Yeah,
if
no,
I
if
was
they're-
watching
if they're-
United game, I wouldn't know if it was their first 11 or not.
Yeah,
If they're all fit,
Wouldn't
if they're all
have a
fit, I could. But even if they're all, if they're all fit, like,
No,
The-
if there was
the
all
straight-
fit, who is your first 11?
should I tell you the top?
No, yeah, please.
We got to move on.
I can tell you the front three.
We got to
Like,
move on
that's
to
probably,
Liverpool.
and that's my point. Like the front three isn't good. They're not scoring enough goals. Like, like so the front three, obviously Ahmed would be there, and he's been
Yeah,
obviously
injured,
injured. He'll probably get you goals.
Yeah.
You probably put Xerxes up there,
Mhm.
and you might put Bruno.
That's your front three, then.
Question, Drake,
that's
Drake,
what I
before you move,
Yeah, go
move on. So, like, obviously, 3-4-3 is this is his formation.
Yeah, of course.
This is what he plays the inside out. So my thing is, if this is your specialist like formation, yes, you may want better pieces, but the piece that you have, you should be doing better with it because this is the formation that you know inside out.
But
so you just okay, you know what? I could tweak it like this, but bro, it's
But the pieces are getting chances and they're just not scoring.
No, but- no, but
Like,
as
he can't be held responsible
No, but then-
for players that ain't scoring.
I
Like, you've
think-
got the example on the weekend. Hoyland had like three chances, bro.
Yeah,
And he's
mad.
not scored. Like Marino's scoring that.
Yeah.
Trossard's scoring that. Martinelli's scoring that.
Ganacho had the chance to take it 3-0 against
Bruv,
Lyon.
these guys are missing like chances that they should be scoring. Like he
chances.
can't be held responsible for
That
that.
one
Like,
on his left foot that come into the box.
yeah, bruv, like Mason Mount missed 2 chances as well.
That's fair.
Like, come on, man.
And there was a time as well, I think, was it on the weekend? Where is it? Højlund, he passed the Wolves defender, ran all the way.
Bruv, you can't, bruv.
Dogu was in the wings.
Ames is moving brazy
Yeah.
in wing back, left wing back, bruv. Hoyland's doing that dead trademark chop that he does, bruv, and he's not
He's not passing it to
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest, bruv. Like I understand. Like 17th is sorry, we're not 17th by the way, guys.
No.
So I accepted it first.
We're talking it to existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 14 is obviously not acceptable, and the amount of L's that he's got is not acceptable. But like he's been let down many times in these games, bro.
You lot are just lucky that the teams that are about to get relegated
that they're so bad.
Yeah,
they're
so
bad.
trash.
And obviously you lot owe Arsenal some thank yous as well because obviously we've made it mathematically impossible for you or Spurs to get relegated when we beat Ipswich.
Get out, bro. We don't
So
get
you should actually be saying thank you.
Let's
to us.
move on. Let's
Yeah,
move
go
on.
on,
Let's
Let's
bro.
just say
Bro,
thank
sorry,
you,
bro.
Strauss, thank you, Ross.
Let's get
And a half thank you to Della Strada who's wearing an Arsenal top. Can you do that, please?
on that note. Let's move on to Liverpool. Joey, so you beat Liverpool beat Leicester 1-0 on the weekend. What's that one game to go now before you're lifting the trophy? I think Van Dijk said that all the teams getting together to watch the Arsenal game.
At
Against
David
Palace.
Coates' house.
Did he actually say that?
But what was it a fitting way for Trent to come on and then score? Let's just go straight into it. Talk about Trent, man.
Yeah, sure, I guess, man. I was saying to Ross earlier on, I'm not sure if he's before I was 100% sure he's leaving. After that, in the interviews, it's kind of 50-50 for me, to be completely honest, man. But
Well, even him putting his shirt on the corner flag, you don't think that's like an omen to him to say
what does that mean?
it's a caveat? He's hanging his shirt up.
Wait, celebrating.
Oh, that's a good.
No, he's hanging his shirt up like he's done it.
Yeah, that's
Like,
why I
hanging it
took
up.
from it as
Yeah,
well.
that's
It made me.
actually a good shout. I didn't read that.
It made me
Read
sick,
like
man.
that.
Even Della, you said it. Even if he was fat, he didn't care. He's still hanging his shirt up. I've done
Yeah,
it. I've done my
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, no, I think that it was nice, man. Because but then if you look at the performance, man, it was just terrible. That's what it took for us to get the tiebreaker. But yeah, no, it was a good finish, man, and we're gonna miss that if he does leave massively.
How was Salah?
It wasn't a good finish. It was poor keeping, bro. What are we talking about?
No, it was on his left. It was his left leg as well.
He went underneath the keeper.
Keeper should have done better.
So,
Though.
Nah, the keeper had
touched it, but it was a
players
left
in
footed
front of
volley,
him.
bro, man.
But keeper should have done
Yeah,
better.
it was
right?
a good connection,
Which
but
way?
you're going on like it
No,
was
the keeper
some
should have done better.
superb
Should have
finish.
saved.
Hermansen
On his
had a
left
good game up to that point. Let's just say
I said, was it a good goal? It was a good goal.
No, it was poor keeping, bro. You look like I
You
couldn't
say it's a
tell
good
which
goal,
one
but
was getting
I'm saying
relegated,
the
bro,
keeper
man.
should have-
Yeah, keeper should have done better in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But at this
still
time,
think
you
it
don't
was
really
a goal.
care, bro. So
No,
one
of
way
course
away
not.
from winning the Prem.
Of course not, man.
Everyone's excited.
But again, you asked how Salah played. Salah was alright, to be fair. Like when I catch the majority of the first half, he had that first chance straight away, man. He looked decent, man. I think obviously you're thinking that he's aged out of his contract and he might not be what he was last
He's
season.
playing
but-
against a relegation team, but
I mean, yeah, everybody played Leicester this season.
no,
I
so
don't know what
the
you want me to
performances,
say.
you know.
Yeah. How bad have Leicester been? They've won like so many games. They
No,
haven't even
mate.
scored a goal at home.
They looked pretty good, bro. They
Yeah,
rattled
they did
the
look
post.
good.
They were going at us.
They
but-
looked decent.
Mavididi looked good.
Yeah, he did.
Bradley.
Yeah, Bradley. How was his performance?
Conor Bradley wasn't great.
Yeah, that
I
was.
don't think I've never said that.
Yeah, that was one game where I was like,
was-
I hear what Julius is saying now. Still.
Yeah. Like, I personally, I don't think he's his fitness is questionable, and I don't think he's as great defensively as everybody thinks he is.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't build my defense around him, but he's definitely good enough to deputise for a top right back.
But can he be the first choice? Let's say Trent goes. Are you confident?
He can be the first choice. I wouldn't. If I was the manager, I wouldn't put all my eggs into his basket.
You'd be looking at another.
I'd be looking at somebody to come in and hit the ground running, or at least somebody
I thought that was a highlight from Big Doug last week. Still,
or somebody who can challenge him for that. But yeah, all in all, like we created loads of chances, and again, as long as we're creating chances, I think that's the most important thing. Can you set up a team that can create chances? Can you set up a team that can keep a clean sheet?
Yeah, because your fullbacks were bombing on in that game, but then I just don't think you guys rated Leicester at all, even though they played all right.
Yeah. Nor should we.
Yeah.
Nor
Do
should
they
we.
ever not though? They do every game, don't they? Every game I watch Liverpool. Robertson's gone.
Robertson, yeah, exactly.
But they almost like seem like the furthest players forward.
Yeah.
Watching them at times. So I just think
they can rely on Virgil, they can rely on Grav to pick up those pockets and fill in all those gaps as well, man. Which is that's why obviously like I think Strives asked me once on this episode, how comes teams never do low block against Liverpool, but they always do low block? Della, why did they never do low block against? They always do low block against Arsenal, never against Liverpool, and I think it's because those guys are always back and forth, and Robertson and Trent and all those guys, they go on the outside, whereas your fullbacks kind of invert. Apart from when Ben White was there, and he used to always go and overlap with Saka, but now your guys invert, so it's not as safe. Whereas our guys fill in the gaps as well, man. But Leicester game was.
How do you think Salah did?
Huh?
Yeah, no, I said he played well. I said he played all right, man.
He did all right, you think?
Yeah. Like, again, people need him to score goals and get assists, but the job's done, man. Like, what do you need from him?
But then do you, like, obviously, in the summer, do you think you guys are going to buy another striker? Or obviously, what's going on with Nunes?
So what I'm hearing that Nunes is potentially on his way to Saudi Arabia. I believe it when I see it. But but 100%, like I said earlier, and I think we should be looking at Cunha because just watching him play, I think he's got enough skill and got enough know-how to kind of be a facilitator, and he's got enough technical ability to hit the target at will.
What's the band to play central or on the left?
Play central for me, in my opinion, as well. He could play either, to be completely honest. But
so what's that to replace Jota?
Nunes.
No, Nunes. No, Jota should just always be around the club as that auxiliary guy that can come in and do that job. But we were looking at Gyökeres. We were looking at Seshko. Who was the other guy? Ekitike and Cunha. And we were just looking at their shots, and obviously Gyökeres is just a flat track bully, hit the target, physicality, all of that kind of stuff. Ekitike likes to take shots, and Seshko also likes to take shots. He's great in the air.
Who was looking at that? You guys?
Yeah, I think there's a good little Twitter thread going on. There's like bare strikers that have done like last 40 shots in it.
Yeah.
Why do you think Gyökeres was last 80 shots?
It was last 80.
Data, man. He just takes loads of shots.
80 shots.
It was 80. I don't think I saw Georgia Perez. I just saw Ekitike and Seshko, and I was like, these are just fucking pamming shots, bro. And then Cunha was like quality.
Yeah. So
and Alvarez as well.
Yeah, when you look at Julian Alvarez and you look at Cunha, these guys, they're able to take a breath before they get a shot off. Whereas Seshko, Ekitike and Gyökeres, they just look like, I've beaten my man, I'm just hitting it. And I'm so good at hitting the target that it's going to go towards goal. But the way that Cunha is able to slow the down game, and Alvarez, they're able to slow the down game, and it's kind of like you can see what they're trying to do. Not many attackers have that ability, and I was so impressed with like just
how old is Cunha?
Cunha, I think he might be.
I think
26.
Yeah. So the difference, I know in Gyökeres, but the difference between Cunha and the likes of Ekitike and Seshko, they're still young. So if you took Cunha's like 40 shots when he was, it's probably the same. He's a lot more refined than those two players.
Then Julian Alvarez has always been like that as well.
Yeah, no, but that's different.
So
just check out how old Cunha is.
Julian Alvarez has always had that. So maybe not Cunha, but I think when you're maybe Arsenal as well, when they're looking for a striker, that's probably something they don't have in their team. They don't have a flat check bully, but they also don't have somebody who like steadies themselves and is able to make time and space when they're getting their shot off in that.
They don't have someone that shoots outside the box often. Doesn't shoot outside the box often, too often.
But in terms of slowing the game down,
he
steadying
doesn't,
himself to take shots.
he doesn't. Havertz does not.
He does sometimes. He can be a bit rash though.
Very rash in comparison to what I saw.
Because if you look at forget.
No, I didn't know that was Havertz's profile. Like,
no, because if you think about all the chances that he gets here, I don't think it's a coincidence that those chances haven't fallen for. Okay, Marino's.
No, we're not talking about getting the chances because all of these guys are capable of getting chances. It's about when you get the chance. Are you able to make space even with like two defenders on your back, steady yourself and just try something?
Okay.
Fair enough.
But obviously, you didn't really ask any games about our Liverpool game. There's nothing to ask, man.
I wanted to ask a question. Are you as salty as other Liverpool fans about the fact that it was Trent that scored?
No, of course.
Salty?
Yeah, people are salty, man.
Some of them are saying...
to be someone else that scored the goal.
Some people are saying that he's leaving to be dropped.
Oh, get out, man.
I did hear that he should be dropped, but he hasn't announced that he's leaving.
Get out, he's still your player.
Like, go based on what Court Offside is saying, or should we just like utilise our squad that we have?
It was TalkSport that broke it.
But what did they break though?
I don't know, but
they still haven't even broken that. It's a guarantee.
I know, but I think I can't remember the guy's name.
I know he was.
I forget Alex Cook.
Yes, Alex Cook. Yeah.
Ross, what do you think of Alex
Have you heard anything about it?
Yeah.
What's the word in the grapevine?
Honestly,
do you guys like have an agent?
No, I don't have some sort of I don't have
a Pokedex.
I'm not some intelligentsia on transfers. I don't have any more info than any of you guys, really. To be fair, I mean, my personal view would be. It wouldn't massively surprise me if he's running the clock down. And last minute he'll go bang and he'll get an unbelievable contract.
Oh, with Liverpool?
Yeah. Don't you think that all players should do that though?
He's an agent.
Well, listen, I mean, look, I'm never likely to deal that big, frankly.
You never know.
But the reality of life is, I would suggest that's probably the game plan. He's probably going to run the clock. But I would imagine, if I was a betting man, his agent is probably thinking, well, look, the current right back, they're going to be looking at him thinking, well, he's good, but he's not Trent.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that the next thing his agent's going to say is, right, well, let's hold on for a bit. Let's get the title secured. And we'll have a think. And then I guess maybe he's just watched Madrid go out of the Champions League.
Yep.
He's looking at Liverpool and thinking, well, actually, like man for man, am I in the right place anyway? And I reckon that, it might be a case of the prodigal son returns and he comes back and signs the deal, personally.
Maybe he might be waiting. I was going to say, Joey, maybe he might be waiting on to see who's going to take over Real Madrid as well. Maybe, I don't know if that'll have an influence. Maybe
Alonso's looking. Apparently, that's the rumour.
Yeah, no, I just think he's just putting himself in the best position to make a decision, man.
Can he play wing back?
Yeah.
Could he play wing back? Because I'm thinking, obviously, if Alonso comes, Alonso plays with wing backs, right?
Yeah. Ain't that pretty much what he does now, though? Or
for Liverpool?
Well, no. But to be fair, he's more wing than back.
Yeah,
he's more up there. But
so in that system,
he's not got that up and down necessary for a wing back, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like Frimpong. Frimpong's more like a Dorgu. Like they're wing backs, but they're wingers. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, can Trent
I'm
do
sure
that?
Xabi Alonso will adjust. I don't think he's like Amorim in terms of it's not as rigid in his what he'll do at Real Madrid. He would happily adjust for the team.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Fair. And then obviously your next game is Tottenham.
Is it?
At home.
That's win the league.
Honestly, I think we'll probably try to lose that so we'll lose that against Tottenham and Chelsea so we can do it
against Arsenal.
Yeah, that would be great if you could do Arsenal and break their spirit.
It's not happening against Arsenal. Yeah. It's not happening against Arsenal. We know that.
Guard of honour in it. That's what you want.
You need to do it before you come to Arsenal. Yeah. You're not beating Arsenal.
No, it's either win it or you're right, to be fair. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, when it's argued, but I ain't gonna. I ain't got nothing for that. Yeah. It's only my neck in, bro.
It's only a matter of time now before you guys are crowned champions, man.
Yeah,
a real no asterisk title as well. Look on.
No, there's gonna be asterisks. Like, they've said that everyone else was injured. Came 17th title.
No asterisk.
Yeah.
You get to celebrate in the cup.
Are you gonna go?
You saying it, boy.
Any trophy that you lift is a real trophy, no matter what the haters say.
Are you going? Liverpool to celebrate?
Yeah, I'm taking my baby with me up there. As soon as my baby's born.
Nah, because I want to come for the ride, man.
Don't touch me. Don't ever touch me.
Ross, you see it? This is what we got to deal with, bro. He's going to have a Liverpool kit.
I'm trying to. I'm just trying to celebrate. It's going to be Liverpool's going to be popping.
I've been there back the whole time.
Let me hold up, boss, man.
Liverpool's going to be popping, of course, man. Why not go to Liverpool when they won the title?
Because you got a family to take care of. That's why.
Nah, man. Let's go clubbing, man.
No, man. Speaking about the caveats, though, man. What do you make of like people that are saying that obviously the standard of the Premier League hasn't been high this season? I'm not saying that I believe that, but I'm just saying, what do you make of people that are
You
saying?
just ask them, like, did you win a trophy this season? If the answer is yes, then you listen to what they're
I
saying.
think you've been good for it. I mean, look, it's hard to say as an Arsenal fan, but you got to say I think Liverpool have probably been good for it.
But why do you think the Premier League hasn't reached the heights then? Because obviously, I would say the opposite. I would say that the teams that you least probably expected, there's a couple around there that they're just excelling. So their teams are actually getting better and they're excelling in the Premier League. Do you know what it is?
If it's against Real Madrid and you ask them, did they play well? They'll say no. But if you ask them about the other teams in the league, they say, well, these guys have done well this season. Or, do you know what I mean? It is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just football.
I think the frustrating thing for me has been the fact that whenever we've been close or we start to edge and we get close and you think, oh, it's just the next game, like there's a West Ham that comes along.
Yeah.
Something that you're just not expecting, you know, and you think like, do you know what I mean? And I think that's the frustrating thing for us, I think, this season has been that. I think like every time that the opportunity... Like, I read a stat, I don't know if it was true or not, because I just couldn't bear to read anymore, but it was something like, if Arsenal had won their last 7 games, right, they'd be top.
Yeah.
And I looked...
Liverpool, Trafford.
And this was at a time where, like, prior to that, we're also know it's done and it's over. We're not going to win it now. And then, but if we'd have just gone on a run, even when it was almost like considered, you know, like pervasively as too late for us to do it. If we'd have gone on a run and won those 7 games, then, you know.
But doesn't it go to show...
This is why I always, I say always, but this is why I've said in recent times that I wonder if Arteta's able to cross the line, because
you got to take the gloss off when you say that.
No, because this is just I'm not going to delve into that. Yeah. That's for another episode. But that's just because of things such as that. But then obviously against Real Madrid in the second leg, he proved he could cross the line in that sense, because that was an element of crossing the line. But it's stats like that. Like, I don't know. Like Ross says, he doesn't know if it's true, but I do genuinely believe, like, if Arsenal was winning all of our games, Liverpool have been trying to. They've been trying to bottle it. Like, they've been trying to. I missed most of the football on Sunday because obviously it was Easter Sunday, I went to church and stuff like that. So I missed most of the football. But then I caught the Liverpool game, a lot of the Liverpool game, and I was like, bro, which ones? Who's going for the title here?
Bro, I think Liverpool's down tools. I don't do think Liverpool down tools.
No, but bro, they're up. You can't say they're down tools, but they're at the top of the league.
No, but that's why. When I say
they're saying like they got so many games to win it. They don't.
Yeah, it's like, but it's understandable. Like,
you don't take anything for granted in this Premier League. Because what you say, they're playing Tottenham next. You said,
yeah.
Obviously, Tottenham are trash. Then who's next?
Stripes, I want to cut you. I'm cutting you.
Thank you.
Security. Who's up?
Security. Escort this man out of it.
Who's after Tottenham? No, but who's after Tottenham?
Chelsea.
And then who's after Chelsea?
Arsenal.
Bro, like, just imagine. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine. I'm just saying, like,
bro, they could get 1 point in each game and still win.
Just imagine, bro.
But
I guess the problem is though, draws will do, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. But let's just wrap it up, because time's getting the best of us. Obviously, Man City staying in contention. Obviously, they beat Everton.
Yeah, shout out Nico Riley, man.
Yeah, doing his thing. And just quickly, KDB has actually come out and said he was really surprised that Man City didn't offer him another contract.
I like KDB. I feel sorry for him, man.
Because the thing is, actually, that I'll put it to you just quickly, because we really are times against us. So KDB now is going to be leaving Man City. He's going to be on a free. If there was a team in the Premier League that he could go to, who would he go to?
For anyone. Do you think Man United can get him? Do you think? So the reason I asked that is because based on his interview he gave, he was like really
project.
Yeah, and he wants to. I think he was staying in England as well.
He wants to stay in England. But the reason I said
self-respect, man.
What as in?
Come on, man.
He's on a ridiculous amount of money as well.
Villa.
You could go Newcastle,
Newcastle's
Villa.
too quick, innit? But Newcastle probably hasn't got the legs.
Yeah.
Villa.
You know who he would probably go to?
Yeah. That'd be a good project, though.
Funny to say. He'll probably go to like an Arsenal or something, man. Come and join Mikel Arteta or something.
I think Arteta would take him though.
Bro,
Whoever will take it.
I think because you know
Arteta's
kind of-
taking Willian. He's taking. I'm not
taking
saying. By the way,
It's a
I'm
bit
not saying
different
I
though,
want
because
him or whatnot.
as
I'm
Ross
just saying
said,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Those are specific phases. You kind of move past that phase now.
Yeah.
So like when you've got like
Don't
talent
forget
like-
you pushed Arteta over and all.
Yeah. And you've got talent like Skelly and all those other guys coming in.
I'm just
like,
saying,
it's more
someone
suited
of
to a Villa or
KDB's
something.
ilk is not going to go to a struggle team.
Why not? He said,
Why not?
what's
He
the
said
project?
he wants to be
He's
tested,
not
isn't it?
The other
Yeah.
team that's been linked with him, I think, was it Seattle or
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
MLS and then
MLS.
Saudi as well.
yeah.
But
So
anyway,
like, I think if he really wants to stay in competitive football, like it's gonna have to be.
I think it's going to
project.
be interesting where he goes, to be honest.
Mm.
I think if he tries to stay in the Prem, it'd be interesting to see who he goes to.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to be thinking about management and the other fool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's-
I don't think he's
If
good
he's going to a
Yeah.
team that's in
He's
contention
not
of winning stuff, he's
But bro, he's won everything,
Why would he
bro.
wouldn't need to?
okay. All right. You guys are right then.
Bro, he just...
What's he doing?
The thing,
I just can't-
You're going to throw it in the bin,
I
your
just-
cigar, brother. You're none of it,
Yeah,
bruv. You're
yeah.
silly cigar, bruv.
I just can't be bothered to argue with this, bro. You think
Yeah,
that
no, I hear
KDB
you.
would consider some of the teams you guys are mentioning?
No, but the
He
thing is, I would say
definitely
is that he wants to... If he wants to still play like top level football, regardless of the team,
Yeah,
he'd
you
probably
wouldn't
still play in
consider
the Prem.
Manchester- You wouldn't consider Manchester United.
I asked the question.
Oh, that's never an option.
Could be Nottingham Forest.
No, I won't
No,
go
he
there.
wouldn't.
He wouldn't go Nottingham Forest.
No.
What's next on the
Villa's a good chat though. I wouldn't mind him at Villa.
Yeah, I mean, because Ross Barkley's probably, and he's like,
Oh, yeah, I completely forgot about
Yeah,
him.
he
I was surprised when I saw him the other day. I was
Yeah.
like, Ross, he's still there.
Yeah, now we're talking about Villa. Obviously, they beat Newcastle 4-1.
Great game.
Crazy.
Mhm.
Did we expect that? Or
I expected 2-1, to be fair.
I expect anything from Villa, to be honest. They're that kind of team, and like they're so stacked. Their team is, their attack. How many loans have they got there?
How many what?
How many loans is Marlon's on loan? Rashford,
You said Marlon?
Marlon.
No, that's a permanent.
Is that
sanction.
perm?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's perm.
It's just
Yeah, yeah.
Asensio and
Asensio,
Rashford.
yeah.
just
Oh,
like-
it's just 2 loans.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, God, their
Because he's
team
not
is
in the
stacked.
Champions League squad, I think.
Yeah.
Raw. Okay. Okay. Yeah. The league's gonna be hard
Yeah,
next
it's
season, you know.
crazy.
It's yeah.
And then obviously Chelsea scraped a 2-1 against Fulham in the last minute.
I was annoyed about that.
So they're still trying to like fight for like
Yeah.
a Champions League qualification place.
It's not bad. They've not done bad this season. Obviously, some people will say like they've been a bit rubbish, but it's a hard project for Maresca to navigate, in my opinion. But yeah.
Fair enough. Quickly, let's just go through the back pages. This is where we choose. Could be a player, club, or a team that's done well this past week or on the weekend. Molly, more quickly.
I'm gonna go Skelly on Arsenal. I mean, he's just been superb all season, man. He's just growing into confidence even more further. So yeah, Skelly, man. Yeah, it's my guy.
Joey?
Yeah, I'm just going to go Trent. I think he's played a blinder in terms of the position that he's in to negotiate the best opportunity for himself going forward. Great way to cap off the weekend as well, man. So yeah, man.
Della?
I'm going to go for 2, Wissa and can't say his name.
Mbeumo.
And Bueno.
Yeah,
I think
my
they are,
favourites.
what is it? 4 or 5 goals short of Salah and Mane's record for is it goals and assists?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
They've got a crazy combination going
Yeah.
up top for Brentford. And
They've scored way more goals without Tony.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Wissa's their top goal scorer.
Yeah.
I thought it'd been Tony.
Ross?
Close, and it's toss up between Skelly and Rice. I'd probably go with Rice, really, just because of the impact that the 2 free kicks had on the second leg.
Strives?
Yeah, I'm giving mine to Bukayo Saka. Yeah, I think he's. I think the Panenka attempt and then to failing that and then coming back and scoring such a goal at the Santiago Bernabeu. I think that takes a massive character to pull off, and obviously we got the win as well. So big you up, Saka.
Yeah, I'm going to give mine to, it's a bit of a random one, but Ranieri for Roma, unbeaten in 17. He's won his last, he's won 11 out of those games and then drawn the rest. So he's on a crazy streak at the moment.
That guy's been everywhere, isn't it?
Claudia.
Yeah. At Roma.
It's Leicester form, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Could hopefully win the league. But big up Ross on this episode. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
We'll definitely get you back.
Thank you for the invite.
And thanks
You
for
get back in
joining.
the summer. Talk transfer windows.
Oh yeah. Obviously not about your players, but
Unless you want to like drive up the price.
Let's hope there's a lot of them.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously it's another episode of Podcast Pundits. Follow us, like us, find us on Insta, YouTube, X,
Rumble.
Rumble, Spotify, Apple. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a comment. We out.